Welcome, everybody, to the Ring Generals podcast. My name is Nick Beanhead. Alongside me is Eric.
What's happening?
And, of course, the RKJ Man.
Let's talk that talk, y'all.
Hey, guys, we've been off for a long time.
2 weeks.
I think it's been longer than 2 weeks.
I think it's 3 weeks, actually.
It's almost 3 weeks. This
Feels
has been
forever.
a pretty long layoff for the Ring Generals. But I'm excited to be back. I just drank my coffee. And so I'm ready to go. Guys,
I'm awake. I had lunch. Good lunch.
You had a good lunch? What did you have for lunch, Eric? Let's talk about this for a second.
Why are we talking about the man's
some
lunch?
food. All right, so leftover burgers from yesterday, some fries.
From where?
My mom made some good
that's good.
burgers.
That's good burgers. I was going to say, if you had like leftover burgers from like Carl's Jr. or something, I'd be like,
no.
meat
He
might
wouldn't
not
be able to
the
make it to the podcast.
No,
He'd
he
be
wouldn't.
pooping.
No.
Well, at least I would have to take a 20-minute break.
Yeah.
To take,
No, I just work it
massive
off.
dump.
Bathroom's right over there, too.
I just work it off so I can just burn off all that grease and all that burger, and definitely it's good lunch. What about you guys? What you guys had?
I have not had lunch yet.
Really?
I had like a late breakfast. I had waffles and some sausages.
See, I was just talking to my mom this morning about we need to make waffles in our
waffles are
house.
so good.
Dude, they're good. Syrup
Waffles,
up.
Like
waffles.
Roscoe's.
Dude, I had so much syrup today. Like my stomach's probably destroyed. I've been eating so bad lately. I can't wait to have like a nice dinner tonight.
You look
like
skinny,
a salad.
dude. You don't
Do
look
I look
fat.
I always look skinny.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to tonight?
I don't know. I'm gonna get like a salad or something though. I've been eating like shit. I'm just saying, like our work food isn't that nice either. I work at a concert venue and it's just not that nice. You know, so I need to get healthy again
Got to get that workout
for
in,
my
man.
big camping trip.
Camping.
So,
Okay, there we go.
So I got to do that. So, let's stop talking about food. Unless Ryan, you want to talk about what you had for lunch today.
Oh, I'm talking about what I'm going to have tonight. I'm going to have barbecue ribs tonight.
Barbecue ribs. I
Damn.
couldn't
And
have guessed
some potato
barbecue ribs
salad.
at Ryan's house. Would you have guessed barbecue ribs?
I would
No.
have.
I would have that or collard greens or something like that.
Collard greens.
That's later.
That's
Mashed potato, macaroni and cheese.
A McFlurry.
Oh, yeah, McFlurry. Whew. Shout out to the McFlurry.
All right. So we have a lot to talk about in the podcast. We got tweets sent out by wrestlers. We have a women's pay-per-view that we need to talk about. We have, of course, the storylines going on in the WWE. I almost screwed up the word.
They tested me, man.
What do
They
we
tested
want-
me like some of these people at work.
What do we want to start? We also have a UFC pay-per-view coming up this weekend that I will not be able to watch, but I will be paying attention to. So what do we
really?
want to
There's
talk
a
about
pay-per-view for
first,
UFC?
guys? Yes,
Yeah.
pay attention, Ryan.
I'm
Come on.
sorry. I wasn't paying attention to that one.
Yeah.
I'm too busy.
So what do we want to talk about first, guys? Women's Evolution.
Women's Evolution.
Revolution, the
or-
Me Too movement.
Remember, guys, what's the date? October 23rd?
It's
We should know
October
this because they've
28th.
said it 75
It's
times
October
on WWE.
28th, Sunday, October 28th,
Okay. So,
in Long Island, New York. Such
Let's-
a random place to put it in.
yeah, and as Jonathan Coachman says, the whole Long Island's going to be watching.
Zack Ryder territory, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's his hometown, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, Zack Ryder will not be part of that show.
Oh, he definitely will not be part of that show unless he dresses up like a woman,
Well, unless
which
he goes
is,
all Caitlyn Jenner on us or something like that.
which has
you know?
happened before.
It
It could
With
happen.
Santino Morella or Santina
Who was that
Morella.
dude? Dude, who was that dude back in the day that used to come out in a dress? Vito? Remember that guy,
Yes. Dude, you know what's funny? I watch it. Shout outs to Aaron Riff, No DQ. Like, he's on his show.
Oh, he's part of the show?
Yeah, he's part of the show. He does stuff on there.
I saw a video the other day. I was like on Instagram, and I was
Yeah.
like, I remember that guy in the dress. And he was on one of the video games too, like one of the SmackDown versus Raws, like way back in
I
the
think
day.
the
Yeah,
earlier
he's with
ones,
the
yeah.
FBI, right? Full-blooded Italian.
Oh my gosh,
No,
the
that's
FBI.
Nunzio, right?
No, but Nunzio is
Nunzio.
somebody else. But when they, all those ECW guys gimmicks got just destroyed when they came into WWE.
Only some of them succeeded. Like
I'm
Rob
talking
Van Dam.
about
Yeah.
later,
But
though.
later, yeah.
Like, I mean, Tommy Dreamer really, he wasn't booked very well. Sandman
Yeah.
was sent to Raw, which was one of the dumbest moves ever.
I mean, that's the thing. That if you go back to Paul Heyman's documentary, and also it's been heavily, there's evidence that that revived ECW that they brought back under the W umbrella. Paul Heyman hated it, and also hardcore fans like ECW original fans, they did not like it.
it was good for like 2 months.
They had some good ideas.
It was like that pay-per-view they did where they had the WWE versus like they had some like special Raw.
Oh, yeah, it was
That
WWE
was
versus
unbelievable.
ECW.
It was
Yeah.
really good when Sabu jumps off the ropes and puts Cena through the announce table with a
Yes.
chair.
Yeah,
that was sick.
That was pretty good. Just the thing is that having a lot of these wrestlers from the Raw and SmackDown going over to ECW and start winning the title, it just didn't make any sense, and it's almost like trying to insult our intelligence by saying this is ECW.
Once they gave Big Show the title, it was kind of it changed the whole thing.
Yeah, and Paul, he even said it himself. He just did not like it. This is not what he wanted. He wanted Punk to win the title because this is a guy who was not to be branded at all. This is a guy who's OG or indie based, and he's gonna win the title. But rest is history.
Well, at the end of the day, the rest is history. CM Punk ain't in the WWE anymore, but Paul Heyman is.
Yeah, I wonder if like CM Punk his attitude might have been better if he would have like been booked better earlier in his career.
Could be that.
He could have become even a bigger star.
No, but I think it contributed to him becoming as big as he was starting in 2011 because he wasn't booked as great.
Okay, that's fair.
And I can respect that.
Yeah.
That put that chip on his shoulder to say, hey, I want to make this great again. I want to make this great again. And, unfortunately, things didn't work out. But, hey, we got a great run in 2011. The summer of Punk.
One of the best. It's still one of the best storylines like to date.
I'm pretty sure that CM Punk had a lot of ideas in which WWE shot down, like McMahon and Triple H, in which I'm pretty sure he would have it would have succeeded. But, of course, the powers to be, or the powers that be, like to put a stop on it, and we get this, We
get CM Punk getting his ass kicked in the UFC instead.
Yeah. But his wife may appear at Evolution. Will she appear at Evolution?
I
didn't. Will AJ
Are you just coming
Lee-
up with that in your head, or did you actually read something about that?
No.
I don't.
I think
wait, I asked you.
They asked a question. They asked a question.
I didn't ask you a yes or no question. You answered no.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything yet.
I can't
I'm
see
just
that.
asking a question. Will AJ Lee be at Evolution?
No.
Would you want to be at
It would be
Evolution?
cool.
If you
I
were
would
AJ
love for her
Lee?
to be.
I mean, it would be cool, but CM Punk, him trying to leave wrestling behind, and also maybe he might have got to AJ saying that, hey, look, if you go to that Evolution pay-per-view and they ask about me, I don't want any part of that.
I thought Eric was going to say something else. I thought he was going to be like,
I'm
CM
gonna
Punk.
divorce you.
Exactly.
You thought he was gonna pull a Corey Graves
What's
on her?
Eric gonna say right now?
No.
The beta male?
Nah.
I mean, but that's it. I mean, yeah, we'll see if like AJ.
Don't talk to me about that beta male. Corey Graves.
We'll talk about. I screwed up a bunch on my podcast yesterday too. I'm just my words have been.
I think we're just tired, man.
This heat is killing us. Yeah.
But it's been hot outside too.
Tired.
It's been humid, but nobody wants to hear about that. So women's evolution.
It's hot everywhere in America.
Is at its peak with this pay-per-view, right? You're doing an all women's pay-per-view. There's never even been an all men's pay-per-view before, in a way, right? They've never like singled out all men. So this is a big deal. What I'm saying though is there's never been like a male exclusive pay-per-view. So there's a women's exclusive pay-per-view. It's a pretty big deal, right?
Okay.
I don't understand why you're not. There's never been a male exclusive pay-per-view. They've never been.
But most of your superstars in the WWE are male.
Well,
and that's what you're selling, male superstars.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying this is such a big deal that they're literally giving the women. They're trusting the women to put on a good show for us, right?
Okay. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this Women's Evolution pay-per-view. Okay.
I don't know what my point was with that.
The issue is, your point was all over the place. But the issue I'm having with this situation is, number one, the fact that they're forcing it down our throats. That might be the most important thing that I'm dealing with. Okay, we have SummerSlam to deal with. And then after that, we have another pay-per-view, which is Hell in a Cell, which I think you want to put Sasha and Bayley in Hell in a Cell. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, why in the world? I understand every now and then you need to promote this, but you don't have to keep promoting it every freaking week and everybody's promo brainwashing us down the throat. Are you that scared, Vince McMahon, of the NFL or whatever, or the NBA
XFL.
or whatever else that could be going on that night, that you're so scared that you've got to start promoting 2.5 months early? Also, October 28th, Sunday Night Football. You're competing against that. Will people be willing?
Dude, every pay-per-view in football season is competing with it. I mean,
But
if you're a wrestling fan and you're watching Sunday Night Football instead of wrestling, you're not a
Well,
wrestling
guess what?
fan.
I do that because the product is usually shit during the fall.
That's not true. If there's a good pay-per-view, you're not watching the Sunday Night Football game between teams that aren't the Panthers instead of the
That's
pay-per-view.
not true. I've watched Sunday Night Football between teams that aren't the Panthers when there's a WWE pay-per-view going on. As a matter of fact, if I think that the storyline sucks, and usually my critique about this is usually during the fall time when football season's going on, the product is shit. So usually I take a break from wrestling right after SummerSlam up until about November. I check and see what's going on in Survivor Series. Then I take another break until we get to January. When January hits, then I know shit's gonna hit the fan because that's WrestleMania season.
Well, so maybe that's why they did this women's pay-per-view right in between RKJ Man time right here.
I mean,
You know?
maybe
Right?
they did it for
Smart
RKJ
move, right?
Man.
But you're actually making a good point. Like, you're saying that you noticed the product isn't as good after SummerSlam and before Survivor Series. So what are they doing? They're putting this women's pay-per-view in the middle. But you're right. They're shoving it down our throats. Every promo that's done backstage, they have to mention it. And it's really annoying. And I almost want to, like, not watch the pay-per-view on purpose just to, like,
Let them fail.
spite them.
You know what I find
It's not
annoying?
doesn't have to do with the women. It has to do with, like, if you were shoving down our throats, like, every single week about the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, I'd be like,
Well,
Stop
no,
it.
that's different.
You know?
That's different. If you were shoving, let's say, for instance,
The
the Hell in
network?
Cell pay-per-view in May.
no, I'm talking about
So-
even right now, though, because you have SummerSlam to book. I would, like, if they're like, it's going to be a Hell in a Cell. Every match is going to be a Hell in a Cell or something crazy like that. I would be like, okay, but stop saying it in every promo and stop scripting your wrestlers to talk about it.
No, there's a
Right?
difference. It was a very famous promo Paul Heyman did where it was a week before pay-per-view. He was doing all this promotion, all this hype, and he gets backstage and he thinks everything is going great. And Dusty Rhodes comes up to him and says, "Hey, that was a great job, but where's the money?" And at the end of the day, you've got to go where the money is. The problem is, you don't want to start turning off your fans to this when we're not even at SummerSlam yet. We haven't even gotten to SummerSlam yet. We haven't even gotten to Hell in a Cell. A lot can happen between now and then. Now, we can talk about future book matches for the Evolution pay-per-view, which I have a question for you guys later on about, well, will you do a big match at this pay-per-view right now instead of waiting till WrestleMania? Because you've got to sell tickets and you've got to get people listening or watching. But the fact of the matter is this. Like, you can't just keep shoving this shit down our throats when we haven't gotten the full view of what everything is going to be like at this point in the game. It's too early. It's way too early. Every now and then, like I said, you mention it every couple of weeks, or if the women mention it every now and then, that's okay. But if you're mentioning this every mother Canuckin week, we are going to get tired of this shit, and we're not going to watch
They
it.
should have kept the promotion just to that week they announced it. And then this past week, they shouldn't have said anything about it. They maybe could promo it like Michael Cole for like 2 minutes, but you can't still have like Ronda Rousey talking about it backstage.
I mean, I'll tell you what.
Right? Like it just gets annoying. You're right. It just gets annoying. And we want to talk about SummerSlam.
Right.
We don't give a shit about that pay-per-view right now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't care about any pay-per-view that's in 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's way too far ahead.
Unless it was
because
WrestleMania. That's the only one that I would care about.
It's way too far ahead. They got to go for the pay-per-view that's going to draw, because SummerSlam, that's their second best pay-per-view if WWE wants to promote it that way. And for us fans, we all know that SummerSlam, that's the second best pay-per-view. And another thing that what I do find annoying, other than just having just the Evolution pay-per-view being shoved down our throats, is the fact that Michael Cole keeps on referring to, if you guys want to watch the pay-per-view, you guys subscribe to the WWE Network.
Okay,
and he
well-
kept saying
well,
it
that's
over.
just-
That's been
and
happening
over,
for 4
and-
years
I know,
now.
but over and over and over and over, it's. Don't you think it's getting more tiresome?
Well, he's making a good point though. I mean, like even that is like every night they're mentioning like the WWE. Like we get it, and most of the people watching Raw and SmackDown, to be honest, are probably fans that already know that. So you don't need to shove that down our throats every night.
It's
Like
just-
maybe during a pay-per-view, you go, hey, our next pay-per-view after SummerSlam is Hell in a Cell. You can get it for free. Or like maybe right before the pay-per-view, SummerSlam, hey, this, by the way, this is gonna be free.
If you
right?
subscribe.
If you
for free subscribers.
yeah,
News
or
subscribers.
it's only
Yeah.
$10 a month, right? Like it's not really that bad of a bargain for most people, right? If you just want to like, it's not like they're saying,
Oh, it's cheap.
yeah, you talk about like UFC Fight Pass, for example, is way more than the WWE Network. I think it's like $25 a month or something, maybe even more than that. So they're doing a good job. It's pretty cheap for really anybody to get if you have any sort of income, right? So you're right. They don't need to shove that down our throats because it's easy for people. It's not like a big, hey, it's $100.
It's like we forget
right?
it every
Like,
single day or something like that.
It's just,
we know it.
Yeah, I mean, it probably works, so that's probably why they keep doing it. But it is annoying for the the hardcore fans like
Yeah,
us.
the
It's
viewer.
very annoying. And
So-
so is the
from
shoving down the
TV.
throat of Evolution. Like,
That's also another one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people saying, well, what about what TNA has done? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, the WWE is making all these groundbreaking things by having a first ever women's pay-per-view, but yet TNA did it first.
They were the ones, yeah. Back
Okay,
in
so
2009.
I'll tell you this.
2008, yeah.
Okay, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about, which is why it doesn't matter.
So here's the thing.
They've
the time,
done all knockout pay-per-views.
They've done, yeah.
Yeah,
But TNA,
and
there's a reason TNA's practically out of business now. Though.
they're not
Like,
practically out of business. They just put on a free. Did you watch that last pay-per-view?
No, because all they do is bring all these indie guys. It's not
That
real.
last pay-per-view was
It's just
freaking
another.
amazing.
It's just another.
Slammiversary,
It's
right?
another indie.
Slammiversary was amazing.
Hold on, though. It's just another indie pay per view, though. It's not a TNA doesn't have a roster anymore. Really.
See, this is why we can't have competition, Nick, is because people like you are out there saying automatically dismissing TNA, automatically dismissing all these other promotions
hold on.
without actually looking at the product.
I saw what happened at the pay per view. I'm gonna look this up. What was it? It was Slammiversary.
It was
Slammiversary.
Slammiversary 2018. It was in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
It was in Toronto. It was a great show.
Yeah,
I was watching some of
from
that.
From a lot of people, when they watch the pay-per-view, they seem to be, like it. I do remember.
They're improving. They're getting better. Now, it might
Yeah.
be too late for TNA.
It is a little. I think it is a little bit.
They
too
should have
late.
did this when Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff was there.
Yeah, when it
'Cause
was
they
more
would've-
viewable at the time when they were on Spike.
But
Because-
then they
yeah.
decided to get all the old WWE guys. You saw
Yeah.
Scott Hall swag surfing. And all
with
it-
his gut.
yeah, with his gut.
Try
and
to
I'm
make-
just like, come on.
They try to make Impact look like Nitro, WCW Nitro in a way, if you ask me.
Okay, but this is what I'm talking about. You look at a lot of the guys that wrestled on this pay per view. They're not TNA wrestlers. They're guys that came from the. They had to pick off. WWE didn't have to do that. They don't have to.
yes,
pick,
WWE does do that.
No, they don't for specific. Like for the SummerSlam pay per view, you're not going to see Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks show up to help their pay per view. Because not on the, they can have an entire pay per view of their roster and booked guys. If I'm looking right now, Brian Cage, that to me is a Lucha Underground guy. That's not a TNA guy, right?
He was in TNA twice.
Johnny Impact.
Johnny Mundo.
Johnny Mundo,
yeah, well, he
yeah.
just changed his name for whatever show he's on.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's an indie guy. Phoenix. That's a Lucha Underground dude.
He's also a AAA guy.
Well, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pentagon Jr. Was it? It's
Okay.
in the Mexican
Pentagon?
promotion.
So look, here's
Sammy Callahan is a indie wrestler.
Zero Miedo.
Austin Aries is a TNA guy. He's the
and
TNA
Ring of Honor
champ.
guy, yeah.
And I did enjoy this whole. They had this like Mexican feud between like Conan and
LAX and
LA,
the OGs,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty TNA. But what I'm saying, Tommy Dreamer, really? Tommy Dreamer was on this card, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
Tommy Dreamer's
so-
been everywhere.
No.
He's a nomad.
Let's,
so it's an indie
He's
show.
a nomad of professional
So,
wrestling.
I know we've been going a little bit off topic, but here's the thing.
Yeah, how
But
do we get to- how do
everybody's
we
got
get
to
I
work
know,
with
I
each
know,
other. The WWE
but-
is such a big giant.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to work with each
No,
other, Nick.
Agreed. I give credit to the indies. I'm not giving credit specifically to TNA because I
Okay,
think they're just basing it
so-
off grabbing stars.
So when TNA back on Spike TV, when they had that time slot and they were having pretty good viewers. I mean, it's not the best,
I
but
used
it
to
was
watch.
it was pretty good. This is in 2008 and 2009 when they started having more and more TNA knockout female wrestlers, and they started all of a sudden main event some of these matches, and it went on till like 2011 or 12 around there, and they kept going, and it was pretty good. And they actually had these matches, not only just one-on-one matches, but they started putting them into cage matches and hardcore matches, like really dangerous matches. And it got to the point where me and my brother, we were saying that if you guys are going to put them in hardcore matches, you're going to kill your women.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's
Gail
what I
Kim and Awesome Kong.
Yeah, that
Come
was an
on,
awesome
bro.
feud. Yeah,
And
Great
the beautiful people, they weren't just
I
hot.
loved the beautiful.
They
people.
could
feud.
go, too.
They were great.
They had looks, but also they knew how to wrestle too.
I even liked the guys.
Except Lacey
that
Von
were-
Erich.
yeah,
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 no,
except
yeah.
her. Yeah,
She was
But-
hot, though. So.
No. Here's the thing, though. Back then, there was a time where I watched like TNA every week for like a couple months. 'Cause
I
it
would
was that
watch
good.
TNA. I would watch WWE programming,
Well,
hate it, then watch TNA programming.
You gotta
love
remember
it.
that back then I was younger and I wasn't necessarily allowed to watch wrestling. Like when you had like ECW, there was a time where there was 4 wrestling shows on per week. So my mom, when we would go to watch TNA during on the family TV, she'd be like, "Nah, turn this." She'd see Hulk Hogan show up, she'd be like, "Nah, that guy's old. Like you guys don't need to be watching this shit anymore." Right?
well,
She's like, she would see all these random dudes she never heard of, and like,
Speaking of Hulk Hogan.
yeah, like Sting,
Speaking
you
of
know.
Hulk-
So,
what are your
Hold on,
thoughts
hold on.
well, no, we need to finish the
We
evolution.
need to finish this
Evolution,
evolution
yeah.
thing real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
Okay.
got some thoughts about this
Okay,
thing.
so what's the
So
point
they're
about this
defending.
pay-per-view?
They're defending both the women's titles. They're
Yeah.
defending NXT. They're
Mae Young
defending,
Classic.
Yeah, I actually am excited because I didn't watch the Mae Young Classic last year because I just don't have enough time to watch all the stuff on the network. And so I'm excited because that's essentially two brand new women
Yeah.
that we've never seen before. So I'm excited about that. The NXT title
no,
also
they've got
being
a few,
defended.
like Celeste, the chick who used to be
Well,
Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Caitlyn.
Well,
I follow her on
No,
Instagram.
that's cool, but that's a return and she has wrestled a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm down to see that. I doubt she's in the finals though. Just saying. I
maybe.
doubt. Well, hey, that'd be
So,
pretty cool.
I'm actually excited to see who's returning and who's going to make their debut. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
that's-
don't. You know what's funny is that like I don't necessarily want to see Lita and Trish Stratus wrestle because I don't think they're good enough anymore.
Really?
I would rather see them like maybe in a
come on,
tag
they-
team match.
You don't hear the crowd pops when they come out?
Well, I don't care about the crowd, but though that's great. But
And you don't. I
I
think they can
remember
still
you.
go.
I like wrestling ability.
Are you?
Like,
I think
wait,
Trish
are
Stratus
are
can go.
are you
I don't know
more-
about Lita.
Are you more concerned about?
I'm saying I don't
how-
care.
Oh, you
I
don't
like
care.
I like that we see them, but they're not the same women they were back in the day.
Well,
Lita's not the rated R.
Or Hardy Boys,
Trish Stratus
when
is
she
not
was
the
with the Hardy Boys.
diva she was back in the
Oh,
day.
Trish Stratus is definitely not, but
It's
Trish
an old
Stratus can
school-
still go, I think.
No, she can still go, but it's not the same. Like she has no gimmick involved.
I think
it's
you're
just Trish
crazy
Stratus.
if you don't have Trish Stratus and Lita appearing at this pay-per-view and wrestling. Now, who I don't want to see is the Bella Twins. I don't want to see the Bella Twins there. And I don't know why they're
Well,
being
what if they
presented
book something smart with them though?
with them versus the Iconics.
Because they are good.
Are you telling me that the Bella Twins versus the Iconics? I would watch that
I'll
matchup.
pick the Iconics
actually.
over the Bella Twins.
If that's the finals of the women's tag team championships, which I think could be the finals, I think it will get an Iconics versus Bella Twins matchup for the tag team
The
championships.
problem with that, the only problem with that is the Iconics are winning. That's predictable. But just like the Royal Rumble, we all knew Nikki wasn't going to win the Royal Rumble. We all knew Asuka was going to win it when they were the final two.
Yeah, but you
So-
don't have to have the women's tag team champions.
You
on
need
every
two. You
single
need two
show.
people on the roster. Nikki and Brie Bella are practically retired.
They're
Okay,
done.
Especially
Nikki
Brie.
Bella is
Brie is.
Brie is retired. She wants to return. What I've heard for a storyline, which I'm okay with.
With the Iconics, probably. That's why they're beefing on
But
Twitter.
they're not going to win. That's the problem. Like
it's still great
if you
to
know
see.
one tag team's going to win the whole time.
So what? We knew The Rock wasn't going to beat Hulk Hogan that first time back, but we still loved the match.
that's not true. Rock could have won.
We
Rock
knew,
was a
I mean, not
superstar.
Rock.
in
I'm
the-
sorry. We knew Hulk Hogan wasn't going to beat The Rock the first time around when he came back at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 18.
WrestleMania 18.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right.
yeah, but that's probably not. But you never know with Hulk Hogan, man. That guy could have just said, "I'm not wrestling." Unless you, so
he
that's
did that. He did that with Shawn Michaels a few years later, and Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels got
I think-
pissed.
But so I agree with you. I do not want to see the Bella Twins in a tag team title match because it would be predictable
don't
unless they give them the
deserve it.
titles, which would be very interesting.
Well, do you think
right?
they
Like
deserve it? Do you think they deserve
The Bella
a title
Twins?
shot?
No, not really.
Hell no. No, they're
That's the thing.
they're-
Yeah.
And Nikki and John aren't together anymore. So that whole thing about that rumor going around that they're just giving it because Nikki's dating John, that ain't happening no more, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
maybe
thing
they
is
give them the
gone.
titles and be like,
So
"Hey, we
those
weren't
title
doing it.
shots
This
are
was
gone
gone."
now.
That thing is done.
But okay, so let's.
Thank God.
So we're expecting a tag team women's tournament.
yes, you've got to have as many.
I agree.
My only thing is this:
Who
you
are
gotta
these
have,
tag teams that are going to be in it though? What do we? I mean, obviously you have like
You've
the
got to
ones-
have the Riot Squad.
Riot Squad.
Riot
You've got to
Squad.
have what is it?
Mandy
Mandy
Rose,
Rose,
Mandy Rose
and,
and
and Sonya
Sonya
Deville.
Deville.
maybe Bailey and Sasha. That's where they break
If
up.
that's where they break up.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Reasonable.
You said obviously the Iconics,
The Iconics. That's
Bella
4.
Twins. Maybe you have
Bella Twins. That's 5.
another old school team come back or something like maybe it's Becky
Old
and
school team.
Charlotte or something like that.
Becky and Charlotte can team up, but then you have them break apart for a big storyline.
What
feud.
about
Yeah.
Layla and Michelle McCool? Do you think they might?
I
come
would
back?
bring them back. That's
That
7.
would be a cool tag
That's
team.
7, even though they can't wrestle. That's 7.
Yeah, where's Layla been? I haven't seen
I
her.
actually follow her on
she's been on
Instagram.
low
she's
profile,
she's
man.
silent on Instagram, man. She's
Silent?
very.
But
She's
styling,
married.
styling does not mean you could wrestle though.
She's married though. She looks like she's enjoying her life. So you need an 8th team. Who's your 8th team? Uh-oh.
Maybe an NXT team.
Bring back Kelly and team her up with someone.
No, see, you can't.
Nah.
You can't bring back all these like random not
You know
like
they're
these
gonna do
women
it,
that
though.
can't wrestle. Like, oh, maybe Lita. How about Lita and Trish as a tag team?
Oh.
Could be.
See,
It
I'd
could
be down
happen.
for that.
But see, the problem is you got to have these matches on Raw and SmackDown, and some of these women can't make it to these commitments. They can't make
What
it
if
to Raw.
you
and SmackDown.
have? What if you have that tournament happen? Oh, that's too many matches. Never mind.
That's too many matches.
yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
That's like
You're
a
right.
6-hour show. This
Well-
ain't WrestleMania.
yeah. Oh, dude, I'm not watching 6 hours.
Not 6 hours.
Okay, I mean, me and my brother do a game every single time we watch a show. Which women's matches are they going to botch in? Okay, so I'm not watching 6 hours of women's wrestling. I wouldn't watch. I only want to watch like 6 hours of
Right.
wrestling. Period. So
I
like,
can barely watch 3 because it's just too much. And
well,
you're
that's why
asking
you
me for
tape it
sitting-
and watch it for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's why I record it. Now, so here's the question I'm going to ask, and then we're going to get on to Hulk Hogan. So let's talk a little bit about Ronda Rousey. You've got to put her in a high-profile match. You've got to give her the championship. I think we can all agree that Ronda Rousey's walking out of SummerSlam with that championship. If she doesn't absolutely destroy Alexa Bliss in about 2 minutes, I'll be disappointed.
Unless there was like an interference from Mickey James. Unless she gets screwed over.
No.
No, you don't think
No. If there's an interference, it's got to be someone big. It's got to be like Shayna
Nat-
Baszler or someone like that.
Natalia
Like
might
has
turn
to be.
Oh, yeah, but Shayna Baszler's she's the women's champion in NXT.
No, you still could do that though, because they're kind of friends.
Hold on, give me a second. So, now, here's the thing. Ronda Rousey, okay? Would you just say, F it, I'm going to screw the lines between Raw and SmackDown. Let's go ahead and go with Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte or Asuka at this Women's Evolution pay-per-view to main event our pay-per-view because we need something that will draw. Would you do that? I would. I would have to say F it. I would have to say F it. In my opinion, this Evolution pay-per-view needs to be like the start of the WrestleMania prelude for these women. So, if you're going to have Ronda Rousey face Charlotte at WrestleMania, she needs to go with an obstacle first. Like Asuka. You need to find a way to get her up against Asuka because those two women would have a hell of a match. I think it would rebuild Asuka's credibility to go up against Ronda Rousey. We want to see that match. It was rumored to have happened either last year or this coming year with WrestleMania. Why not do it at WWE Evolution? Forget the brands. Nobody really cares about it anyway.
But see, who was on Raw? I mean, maybe Sasha Banks. Oh no, you want to do Sasha Banks Bailey thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the problem. There really is nobody on Raw, which would make me. Here's what I think is going to happen. Remember, this is a long time. This is not like we're not talking about SummerSlam here. We're talking about October. You could have Ronda Rousey like do enough stuff to where she gets kicked off Raw and just put on SmackDown, maybe.
No.
And then you have her have all these feuds with because it would make sense. I don't think you can just start blurring the lines of the brands and just have certain superstars go to each. Like it's not.
Why not?
Because that's just as far as like they're trying to make it seem as realistic as possible. Obviously, with this.
But if you know that there's no
this
real,
competition,
if there's no superstars besides Nia Jax, who we don't want to see in a matchup against Ronda Rousey again, because that wouldn't be fresh.
what about someone getting called up? That's why I'm thinking like Shayna Baszler could get called up after SummerSlam.
No, you want them to be allied because you want a Survivor Series. You want a 4 horsewomen match. You want Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte going up against Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, and the
Survivor
other
Series?
2 chicks.
Okay, so what about this? What about this? What if we're looking at somehow Rousey doesn't win the title at SummerSlam, and then her and like Baszler and all these other women team up after SummerSlam, and Rousey's putting like kind of a tag team thing for those tag team titles instead to keep her because if you give her the title right now, then she's gonna have it all the way till WrestleMania. I think she should win it at WrestleMania.
No.
I don't think she should win the title until WrestleMania.
No.
There's the case because there's not enough superstars on Raw.
Let me tell you why you don't do that. Because you want to have something
But
to
look, you could
draw the mainstream audience. You want to have Ronda Rousey show up on ESPN in the middle of college football, NFL season, and draw people to wanting to watch that. You want to have her show up there and have people wanting to see the Evolution pay-per-view over Sunday Night
you do
Football.
realize that like Ronda Rousey just being on a pay-per-view is going to make people watch. Like she doesn't have to be in a title match. When people hear, "Oh, Ronda Rousey's on this pay-per-view," like they're just going to watch. It doesn't even matter what match she's in.
Yeah, but you want to have the highest match possible so people can keep coming back and watch.
You do, but like even Brock didn't win the title like 3 months into his stay.
He didn't, but that was a different story with Brock. He only signed a 1-year deal. Ronda Rousey signed a multi-year deal.
That's a good point.
And she's committed to this. So that's why I say you give her the championship now, and she doesn't have to appear on Raw every single week.
True.
That's okay. I don't
Could be
mind that.
fair. Yeah.
I don't mind that. And the fans won't turn on her because she's doing so freaking fantastic right now.
Just to be frank, I want to see Asuka or Charlotte face Ronda Rousey at one of these pay-per-views. I'm just saying we got to keep it. We can't just say screw the brand. Let's have these. You're kind of thinking of an indie mindset right now. We're like, let's just throw all these guys against each other, and that's that. The part of wrestling that works for WWE is they have storylines that build. You don't just throw guys that matter. We talked about this with Nakamura and Styles. Is that match might have been built better if they actually would have built a storyline around Nakamura and Styles for that WrestleMania match.
Well, that's what WWE's
So
known for, storylines.
if you just keep doing these like what indie style matches where you just throw top guys against each other, it's not as cool.
Well,
And
it
it's
depends
just-
on the fans because some of the fans.
And then the match can disappoint. The match can disappoint if you do that.
But at the end of the day, it's about having your biggest matches as possible. You want people saying, "Man, that women's Evolution pay-per-view, like that was awesome."
It can go-
You want them doing it. You want people saying that, and that's what people said about the women's Royal Rumble. I thought it was fantastic. Now, Nick, I know you didn't like it, and I was critical.
No, I didn't
going
like it
into
better.
it.
I didn't like it more than the men's.
Okay.
I liked it. I just didn't like it when you compare it to the men's. The men's was just bad. I just liked the men's better.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to go all in at this. Not to steal anything from Kenny Omega and the Young
All
Bucks.
in.
When is
and
the
that,
All In
but
pay-per-view happening?
September 1st.
Oh, okay,
I'll
that's
talk
not
about
even,
that
so
a
that's
little
not
bit
even
later.
close. I thought it was going to be in October for some reason.
No.
September.
But at the end of the day, I'm interested to see. We're gonna be talking plenty more about this, and
Yes.
if you have something to say, if you got any dream matches, some dream match scenarios, just comment on the YouTube or SoundCloud.
Yeah, because I can't think of any for Raw.
Sasha Banks
For-
versus Trish Stratus. You
You
didn't
talking
see
about
their,
for at Evolution?
yeah, you didn't see their interaction. You didn't see. Let's
When?
see.
What
Would
do
you like to see Mickey James versus Trish Stratus again?
I'd be down for that just because I liked their feud back in the day.
It would be cool. Just I don't know if Trish can hang. Maybe Mickey can hang, but I don't think Trish.
I
I mean,
think
Mickey can definitely
hang.
hang.
Just
She's on the
depends.
full-time roster. But
She's only gonna wrestle 15 minutes. That's
max,
not that bad.
That's a pretty long time.
That's not a long time, man.
I mean, the Undertaker barely can wrestle
with
like
John
15
Cena,
minutes now.
unless you want to see like a match like John Cena versus Undertaker from what happened at WrestleMania, unless you want to see this.
See,
like
the other
No,
thing is
that's
though.
not gonna
the other
happen,
thing is
bro.
though.
You gotta
and
have a good showing.
This is my last point that I'm gonna make about this, because we need to move on. But these older women coming in, and I'm talking about the Bella twins too. When I say this, they're not necessarily older, but they're not in the company anymore. Really,
veterans.
you have to put the young guys over. They're the young women over. We can't have Trish Stratus going in there and just squashing
Half-ass.
somebody. They need to lose. Like if Trish Stratus and Lita, they should not. I mean, maybe you're in the finals, but you definitely can't give them
Well,
like.
But you also don't want to put them in a situation where they're in some crappy 2-minute matchup against one of your younger talent too, and people don't really care as much.
Are there
about
any
that.
like
Mandy Rose?
badass women tag teams that like could go and squash Trish Stratus and Lita to really get heat on themselves? Like that would be great if you had like an Akam and Razor type of women's tag. These just
mean,
badass women.
I guess you could say
They just beat the shit out of
Maybe
Stratus
It would
and
have to be
Lita.
Shayna Baszler, and Ronda Rousey.
That's what I'm saying. So
That's
so
the best I could think
you-
of.
Those two.
Not even that,
Yeah.
but just maybe there's other women that are from MMA that are in this company.
I guess you can say.
I
I
don't
don't
know
want to
what
say
their
the Riot
names are,
Squad,
though.
but I don't want to. Maybe Shayna and also Ronda, but I guess you
I'm
can
talking
say,
about maybe
yeah.
like an NXT tag team though.
Yeah.
Where they surprise and it's like, oh shit, like I hate them now.
Yeah.
Because they beat the crap at Alita and Trish Stratus
Right.
in their big return to like.
Unless you want to see like Alexa do something like that, but that's just she doesn't have like a tag team partner.
No, I'm talking about people we don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Or like, because I'm talking about like an NXT team, because I don't pay attention to NXT unless they're on the pay-per-view. So if you're not on I'm not watching the product every week, and I don't follow the indies as much for NXT. So like, I think WWE should think about that too. They should think about putting like a badass. They have a lot of these badass, like the Bludgeon Brothers, just beat the hell out of people, right? Akam and Razor, they win every match. So you need to come up with a women's tag team match like that
I
too,
agree.
that wins and can do something at a big pay-per-view like this to put a name for themselves and really become a heel tag team.
Right.
You know.
I agree.
So Eric, I know you want to do your Eric's indie update. You have some changes you're going to make to it right now. So let's do that before we talk about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Let's do Eric's indie update. Since we talk about the indies a lot, let's transition into that now.
Okay, so a little bit of an update for you for next month. Justin Thunder Liger will return at the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. And also, Cody failed to capture the Ring of Honor title, in which Nick Aldis had to renegotiate a deal with Cody about the future, about his match with him at the All In pay-per-view, if it's going to happen or not. And what happened is that the things are heating up between the two because now Cody's making it very personal with him. He wants to make a deal. He wants to make a deal with him. What Cody did was that Nick went on to the Ring of Honor show, and they both spoke for a couple minutes, and then Cody, he decided to offer him his wedding ring, in which cost him a lot, which pretty much means a lot to him. And he made it personal by telling him, saying that, you know what, Nick, you do a lot of good stuff in the the other territories, but you never really rolled around with the big money territories. You never did. So why don't you roll with guys like us instead of you wasting your time on beating up a 53-year-old history teacher and getting little money. And then Nick went back into the ring, and they started they were about to go at it, but people were coming in to separate it.
So you're talking about this is kind of a storyline thing necessarily?
Yeah, this is
okay.
Yeah, it's getting now things are getting personal.
They're gonna have match at all.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I think what's gonna happen is that maybe Cody, he might get another second try, because the matches that he had to try to win the Ring of Honor title, they weren't singular matches. They were all triple threat or fatal four-way matches. So nobody really pinned him, or he never got a chance to pin anybody at these pay-per-views to win the title. So he can make that argument, Cody. And also for Impact Wrestling, Rich Swann signs with TNA. That happened a couple of days ago. And
I thought he was already signed with TNA.
Well, this happened a couple of days ago. They were talking.
I did too.
And then they made the deal.
Oh,
okay.
That's
they
what it
made
was.
the deal.
Okay.
Yeah. And Austin Aries has been winning titles left and right, in almost every single territory he's been in. He won the TNA title. He's won the Hall of Fame title from the Dan Gable Wrestling Museum, and he's won the title from the Defy, from the company called Defy. Yeah, he's doing it all.
You know what
right
title
now.
he couldn't win? The Cruiserweight title.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me tell you, the ultimate title he lost, Selena Vega.
Oh,
my goodness gracious. He lost the title of fiance / wife.
Yeah.
She looked fantastic coming out with Andre Cien.
When does she not look fantastic?
Oh my gosh, she looked even better.
Salute to Selena Vega. So I wanted to
God is good.
I wanted to make a couple changes to my segment.
All right, let's go.
So what I want to do is that once I end my segment, we talked about dream matches earlier today. So what I want to do is that we want to do a little thing called Dream Match of the Day.
Oh.
So
Dream match of the day.
I have this
Damn.
match planned
That's
out.
difficult.
I have this match planned out. I've been thinking about this match. So
we
the
gotta
two
come up with
guys,
something right now.
the two guys that I
can't think of
had
one.
in mind right now is that there's this one guy who's right now on the cover of the W2K19 video game, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's W champion. But also what I do realize is that if you pre-order the game, you get to have this character. His name is Rey Mysterio. So I'm pretty sure we might
that
see in
would
the
be such a
future
good
Rey
match.
Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Analysis. What do you guys would happen? What do you think? What would happen?
I mean, that match would be. I love Rey Mysterio's wrestling style. He's a luchador, but I even think he's a luchador that figured out how to wrestle with bigger time superstars
Oh yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
He's not like a luchador that just goes back when he was in WCW. He was kind of just a luchador like all the rest
Oh,
of
that
the
guy was like
luchadors.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
at
he
the time.
kind of everybody else kind of looked the same.
Yeah.
He figured out a way. It's why he was able to win the title at WrestleMania 22 and stuff like that. Beat Kurt Angle, beat Randy Orton. He was able to bring his style with the bigger guys too. So I would love that match. Styles, we obviously know, is one of the, if not the best performer in WWE right now. And Rey Mysterio's always been a beast. You know what I'm saying? As long as he hasn't been injured. So I would absolutely love that match. I just hope they don't put him in the cruiserweight division and kind of put him in cruiserweight
Try to,
hell.
like,
Although we
resurrect him,
could have
yeah.
some cool like cruiserweights show up soon enough. So the cruiserweight division might be put back, a little higher, like when Neville won the title and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I would love that match. I would absolutely love that. I'd be down for that. You put it at WrestleMania, I'd be down. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Question for you, Eric. Would you see, because we were just talking about cruiserweights, would you see Pentagon Jr. in WWE?
I think so if done right.
Mask or no mask?
Mask.
Definitely
yeah,
mask.
gotta have
Because
the mask.
he right now is the most over guy in Lucha Underground. People love him.
Don't
in
spoil
AAA,
anything.
but
I'm
not
halfway
gonna-
through season 3.
I'm not going to tell
on
you.
YouTube.
But Pentagon Jr., he is definitely over with the crowd. Whether you like him or hate him, he is over.
Imagine the Mexican fans following of him too.
Oh yeah, I remember the other day I was like driving back to work, and what happened was that I saw there was this one car that had a bunch of Lucha Libre stickers, and most of them that said "Perros del Mal" or "the Bad Dogs" in English, and that was the group that Pentagon Jr. was a part of.
Oh, that's
and
pretty cool.
he had another sticker that said "Cero Miedo," and the mask of.
Zero fear.
Yeah, and also the Lucha Underground mask right there on the back of his windshield, and it was pretty cool. And so I'm like, oh wow, Lucha Underground, also basically Lucha Underground, fan out there. So
I
yeah.
just like Lucha Underground because it also teaches me Spanish.
Oh yeah, definitely, it helps you out.
Yo soy Pentagon
They don't
Jr.
teach Spanish in North Carolina? Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean maybe
Yo soy RKJ, man.
yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening. But to you, RKJ man, who do you think? What would happen if AJ did confront Rey Mysterio?
I think, damn,
Who would win?
that's difficult.
I think AJ Styles would win.
AJ Styles.
You
Yeah,
gotta put like the guy, because Rey Mysterio's, he's similar. We've been talking about these older time women coming. Rey Mysterio, whether he signs a deal or not, he's not like, it's not gonna be long. It's not gonna be 7 years, right? He's gonna be signing for like 1 or 2 years, and that's probably gonna be it for him with WWE.
Yeah.
So you gotta
He's probably waiting for that
you gotta
one
keep-
last opponent.
It,
for
that
him.
would be one of those where you could come up with something really good as far as a storyline, but no matter what, that match is gonna be good.
The match is going to be great.
But you'd still have to come up with a storyline, because if the match is only 18 minutes, then you're going to be a little disappointed. But if you come up with a good storyline, the match can be 18 minutes between those two and stuff like that. So,
See,
if Rey Mysterio had the best match, at least in my opinion, at that ECW pay-per-view was sad, but it was someone I believe he had barely wrestled before.
He
So this
has
guy
wrestled
can
ACW.
wrestle. He
that
hasn't.
one night
He
stands?
probably hasn't wrestled AJ Styles
Yeah.
that much either. So
Yeah.
Mysterio can put on a show whether he's wrestled the guy or not.
I think, for me personally, when it comes to big time matches that I want to see in the future, I really want to see a few matches. I want to see Bryan Danielson, taking on a Kenny Omega.
Daniel Bryan, man. His name's Daniel Bryan.
Well, his real name's Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson.
But
we don't
the
call
American-
Randy Orton
well-
Randall Orton.
Well, guess what? I'm
just
calling
saying.
him Bryan Danielson.
Dumb.
You might have to call him that in a few more weeks because
It's not happening.
That contract may not be signed.
It's not happening.
Anyway, get to the point here.
Fake news.
All right, if you say so. Anyway, getting back to the point here, I do want to see Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan. And then also I want to see Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles in the WWE. My only issue is this. I'm a little scared because when they did Nakamura versus AJ Styles, that wasn't good. So can you build up Kenny Omega versus AJ
Yes, but he
Styles?
speaks English. I think Nakamura not being able to hit a promo literally was like, because when they're in Japan, AJ Styles is the one that doesn't speak the language there. So,
Vice versa in a way.
Yeah, so it's that when you have the language barrier, that is a problem.
So
Okay, so it's just that's so I think that wouldn't I
No
would
speak English.
the build for that.
So,
Okay, Omega can
yeah.
talk some shit. Styles obviously
But
can
will
talk
his
some shit.
character work in the WWE? What is his character? His character's like
Well,
what, a
that's
massive video gamer or something?
That's dumb. I mean, that's
I
like,
don't know.
That's that. I
could
guess
be
that
in-
would work. You put him in the
By
New Day.
the way, me and my mom, we sat down and we watched the Dominion from New Japan because for whatever reason we have Access TV on our Direct TV package. We have the most
I need
weirdest
to check
Direct
that
TV.
on my TV. I
We have
might
the
have
most weirdest Direct TV package in the world. I can't even watch NBA Network. So anyway,
Oh.
we're watching this, and I'm asking my mom like, "What do you think about this?" And she's like, "I don't know." Like she's like, she doesn't like it. She said that the storytelling wasn't as good, and then she also said the matches was just too damn long.
I was there when she said that. So.
Yeah, she was,
I agree with her though. If you're not a hardcore wrestling fan and you just want to watch wrestling, you shouldn't watch New Japan Wrestling because it's very, like I said, the indie wrestling, even New Japan Wrestling, which I'll call indie wrestling, that is for the hardcore fans. That's not for
WWE
because
fans.
the problem is the crowd doesn't get into it in Japan because they're too respectful. So I think when the crowd's not into it too, it's boring. It's not
that they do. Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, you did a good move. Yeah, you did it right. No, that's not. I want to hear the crowd start chanting. I wanted them to get behind it. One of the best matches I've seen to this date, just because of the crowd reaction, Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
Just because of how crazy the crowd was before that.
Right.
All you needed was that crowd. That match could have been 15 minutes or however long it ended up being, and it was going to be
loud.
great because the
It was
crowd
loud as hell.
was literally in the middle. Right. They wanted The Rock. They wanted Hogan. New Japan Wrestling is not like that. So you need those longer matches. And so for someone like your mom that doesn't necessarily like all that stuff, she's not going to.
Well, see, the problem is, the thing is, and also she said that how she could take a nap for about 2 hours and the match would probably still be happening.
She could take a nap for 20 minutes and still go on.
Still be
Seriously.
happening.
Wow.
Like, legitimately.
And like the thing is, it's like you got to create something that people are invested in. I think American fans are more invested in the storytelling aspect of wrestling, whereas people in Japan, they're more invested into the athletic part. So they're okay with watching an hour and a half match at a New Japan Wrestling event, whereas an American is like, we've got to see a lot of things happening. Like, because, for instance, I'll give you a great example. Lucha Underground. I watch all night long, too. Johnny Mundo versus the Mac. And
Awesome
that was
match.
a great
Highly.
match from Season 3 of Lucha Underground that I was invested in the whole time because of the storytelling. You had multiple people running in. You had everything going on, everything leading up to the Mac, and it was great storytelling to make you want to root for the Mac over Johnny Mundo. I don't see that necessarily sometimes in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And that's the reason why it's very... Now I can see where you're coming from, Nick, and I can admit when I'm wrong, that it will be very hard for New Japan to really, really make it over here in the United States. Also, those ticket sales weren't very good for that event.
For the
Dominion pay-per-view in San Francisco at the Cow Palace. Also, Jim Ross sounded like he could care less. Like... I don't know.
Jim Ross he just honestly doesn't sound as good anymore. Like
A lot of things have
I don't
happened
know
to that
whether
man.
I don't know whether he's like he's like older and he just can't like do what he used to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watched as a Dodger fan, Vince Scully sounded exactly the same for like 50, 60 years. And when he retired, he was in his 80s. So I don't know. Jim Ross has obviously had a lot of physical problems too.
And personal
That was
things with
Paul's
his
Well,
wife
you
dying.
should. I mean, if you can't do it because you have personal problems, you shouldn't be doing it anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You need to leave that stuff at home in a way.
Yeah,
Right. I
that's
know
true.
what's happened to him has been terrible, but you can't sulk and just not put on a good product
just
for
some
the
guy-
fans because you're feeling bad.
There
I
are
mean,
just-
it's not.
Yeah, there are just some
Stay
guys
at
out
home.
there that just want to keep continuing, wrestle or commentate. They just don't want to. They just don't want to
Yeah,
quit.
Michael Cole still sounds not maybe as excited as he used to be, but he still sounds great. He sounds like he's excited to watch the product, and he sounds.
Michael Cole from SmackDown 2002 to 2005 was much better.
Well, he was also trying to, I think, earn a job though too. So he kind of
He was
had
trying
to
to
go
earn
over,
respect.
over
He
the
used-
top. Yeah, exactly.
To me,
Earn
he used
respect.
to be. He used to be good. Just now, it's. I got no comment for him. I just don't want to waste my time with him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Who, Michael?
Yeah.
I don't.
You want to talk about Corey Graves?
I definitely don't want to
Okay,
talk about
I
that
rather-
either,
I'm
Mel.
just kidding. I was just kidding.
I'd rather talk with Byron Saxton. Yeah.
Nick,
But-
what's
I
your
do not
dream
want to talk
match?
to. My dream match. I was just thinking of one second.
Well,
ago.
actually-
yeah. My dream match would be. This is a little harder because I don't know if the guy's ever going to wrestle again. But let's say an AJ Styles CM Punk.
CM Punk.
Something like that. I think the storytelling in that match would be amazing. If we want to keep it indies wise, I think something with Kenny Omega, maybe. Daniel Bryan was a good one too. But I have to think about it a little bit.
Well, we're gonna continue more with the segment, like maybe in the future in the in the podcast. And if out there anybody who wants like a dream match, shout us out.
Yeah, we'll shout it out on here
we'll
and
shout
talk
out here
about
too,
it.
and
Yeah,
we'll
but
talk about it
I
too.
like this part of your segment though because it
Also-
makes me think.
Also, Eric, any updates on the Jay Lethal situation?
Nothing. They've been nothing as of late with Taylor Hendricks and Jay Lethal. I was listening to the podcast that we did a couple weeks ago.
I listened to that a lot.
Yeah, it was. I can tell, man. It was very therapeutic to you, RKJ, man. We definitely delve into that quite a bit, But as far as Jay Lethal goes, nothing. But he's booked for some of the matches for Ring of Honor, so nothing.
If you got proof, bring it. If you got proof, bring it. But if you don't got proof, and you're just making this up just to destroy this man's character, then he should honestly think about suing her.
Yeah.
But
speaking of Twitter.
Speaking of Twitter. Are we doing this right now?
Well, you know what I'm going to do right here? Okay, so let's do this.
For Ryan Rance.
Well, yes, I think we can actually tie in Nick's random segment to Ryan Rance as well. So do you want me to do mine first?
Yeah, do
mine's
yours
going to be
first.
short, but we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So recently, and this is literally going to tie into Ryan Rance, so we'll this is going to be really quick.
Right.
Recently, for some reason, professional athletes' tweets have been being brought up from about 6-7 years ago, mainly in the MLB. There's three players: Sean Newcomb of the Atlanta Braves, Josh Hader of the Milwaukee Brewers, and Trey Turner of the Washington Nationals. All white guys, all I believe from the southern region of the United States too. Okay, I could be wrong on that. I know Hader for sure, but so these guys' tweets have been brought up, and there is some racial language inappropriately. There is some homophobic language inappropriately on these guys' tweets, and I researched them and I looked at the tweets, and a lot of them, the haters were pretty egregious. The guy just didn't understand that Twitter is there forever, right? It's almost like he was texting his friends these things. And there's certain words, like the word fag, that we use as kind of in a joking way between guys, okay? And we're not meaning to be homophobic about it. We're just being like, hey, why you being a you know what I'm saying? Why you being a fag? Or something like that. So you shouldn't say that on Twitter, but that term is used. I think you guys can vouch. We've used those kind of terms homophobically or even like a little racially.
We've
just
joked around with each other, but it's never been on the podcast or it's never been on social media.
But so I'm wondering, do we cut these guys a little bit of slack? And also, a lot of the racial language was lyrics, I noticed.
What were the lyrics? What was the song?
The N-word. I don't know. But you could tell their lyrics, but they just don't properly. The way a lot of these guys tweeted when they were younger, and a lot of these guys, Trey Turner I know is younger, Newcomb for sure is younger, and Hader's, I know his tweets came out when he was like 17. So all these guys were in the high school range of their life when they were tweeting this stuff. We're all dumb in high school. I am definitely not the same person I was than when I was in high school.
You gotta change, man.
I look back at my Instagram a couple months ago and I was like, what am I talking? Like I wasn't being racial or I wasn't being like, but I was like, God, some of these captions are terrible, right? Like they're just so dumb. So can we cut these guys slack because it happened so long ago? Should they be punished right now for stuff they did 6 or 7 years ago when a lot of their teammates have come out and said, we're okay with this, we don't care? Should they be punished? Let's talk about this.
I can't cut them some slack. And the reason why is
you can't or you can?
I can't. It's hard for me to do that. And let me tell you why. Because I looked back over my Twitter yesterday when I was with my mom. Like I was literally eating lunch and I was looking back at my Twitter
because of all this stuff that's come out.
Yeah, I was looking back on my Twitter and I never said stupid shit like that. I never said stupid shit like that.
You're a smart person.
Yeah, because I
didn't
realized
say that. I've cussed before, but it's been about sports.
Well, I've said stuff like Dwight Howard should be able to dominate this team. And, you know, you can have me out there or something like that, and he's not dominating.
That's not what we're talking about.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've joked around. I've said that, but it's never been anything to the point where it's been like, my brother's seen that shit, and he's like, take that shit down right now. Like, it's never been too bad. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you know, you got to have some common sense. Like, we knew 6 or 7 years ago what you put out on social media was going to stay.
No, because I think social media was so new 6 or 7 years ago, especially Twitter. And I remember Instagram came out, and this will tell how young I am, but Instagram came out when I was a sophomore in high school, okay? And I remember I sat at a table there was these 2 girls and this one dude, and they were saying, are you guys on Instagram? And I'm like, what the hell is that? So that's how Instagram came out. I was in high school. That was around 2011, 2012.
I was just getting out of high school.
All of this stuff just started. So I don't really think these guys or gals that have been, have said stuff, but a lot of times there's not a lot of women that get caught up with the stuff because there's not just a lot of famous professional athlete women. So they're not, there's not as big of a,
Right.
case for this. But that's not important, by the way. And so I think these guys at the very beginning of social media, people don't think about that as much. They just think, social media's been around. It hasn't. It's been around for 7 or 8 years,
yeah.
right? Like really prominently.
It's still
Actually,
recent.
no, it was 10 years. It started with MySpace.
No. I'm talking about Twitter and Instagram, though.
Oh, okay.
MySpace and Facebook, they're different.
They
It's
literally
not.
derived from Facebook.
Well, it's still social
and
media.
MySpace.
It's
But
still
no, but
social
Twitter
media.
and Instagram has been more of like a rapidly paced social media, like where you can post stuff. Facebook was more like you're not going to be posting every day, right? Like you're going
I
to
saw
post.
people
You're going to
posting
post
every
your
day.
80 pics of homecoming on that one day, right? So there's a lot of content that you can see. They might keep posting that kind of stuff, but it's not like hey, I think Dwight Howard sucks and should not play for the Nets. It's like or I think Chris Paul, all this stuff. So I'm going to cut these guys slack only because it was the very beginning of social media. I don't think they realized that this stuff was going to be there forever. I don't think they realized how much it could affect people because they thought that mostly their followers and friends would see it. And a lot of these guys probably didn't think they'd make the MLB either when they're in high school, when they're 17 and 18 years old. So they didn't realize they were going to be famous. People were going to look their stuff up later. Because I bet you if you look at most people's Twitter that aren't necessarily famous, there's stuff they said 7 years ago that's just as bad as these guys.
Yeah, with me.
See, oh, go ahead, Eric.
Sorry, man. I want to have my take on this. It's very interesting that you brought that up because I've seen a lot of my buddies use those kind of words around me when we were in high school. A lot of it happened almost every single day.
But how often were you offended?
I wasn't really much offended because it was just them because they were acting like complete dumbasses. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And these people, this is the reason why I never really don't have that many fond memories of being in high school because it was never exciting to me. I knew that these people were never going to be around with me for the rest of my life. Only some of them stuck around, and salute to them. But the others, not really. I knew that they were never going to go anywhere. And if I offend anybody out there, sorry. It's just I'm putting it there.
So what you're saying is, so you didn't appreciate the language that was being used?
I just said to them, like, just watch out when you say that in front of others because if people.
So he was
Yeah.
he was the Twitter police before there was Twitter police.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing a good job.
I said that. Look, guys, like you guys want to say that, go for it. But if you say that in front of somebody, get ready for an ass whooping. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
and
It's also different because when you talk how many like good non-Mexican friends did you have, for example?
it was like half and half.
Oh, it's half and half.
You
Okay,
know,
so you had a good
'cause
amount then. But
because
it is a little different
Yeah.
if I'm white and I'm making black jokes around Ryan.
Yeah,
It's different.
I'll give you a great example.
But I can make black jokes now, and he really didn't get offended.
And
You know what I'm
I've
saying?
made some white jokes too.
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah, same.
I,
you know,
I could care less because they're usually funny.
like
Still.
last remember Nick, one time we were in the car in May, we went to that convention in LA and you were singing that song and you said the N-word.
whoa,
I was singing the lyrics.
And I was like,
Whoa,
no.
what
I
was
was
the
like,
song?
no.
What was
I
the
want to hear
song,
this.
By the way, I didn't say the ER.
No,
I
he said the GA.
Uh-huh.
And I got upset. I was like, what the? You can't say that shit. I was like, you can't say that shit. And he was like, yes, I can because it's in the lyrics.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to tell Nick, no, it's different because the fact of the matter is this. When you're talking like that and you're phrasing it like that, when you're around other African-American black people, and you're a white
No,
male,
that's the
they're
difference.
going to look at you and say, this motherfucker's racist.
I agree. I agree. That's why I said it in front of you because I knew, like, I'm not. If there was
But what
five
if-
black dudes in the back of the car along with Ryan, I ain't saying that
Imagine,
shit.
imagine,
Okay?
hey Nick,
I ain't
imagine
saying
it.
that shit.
Imagine if in the back of the car, you had John Jones, DC.
Well,
and-
Yeah,
that's
they would kill you.
I'm a Cardinals fan.
and
Your brother
God-
plays for the Cardinals. Yeah, no, no, I definitely wouldn't. It's different context when you're with friends. So that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of these guys, because they tagged people in a lot of these posts, They were talking to their friends. And I think they didn't realize that a lot of times when you tag your friends and stuff, it's still technically a tweet. I don't really think that's the way Twitter should be.
Do you think they apologize?
I think if you're talking to someone specifically, it shouldn't be broadcast for everybody else to see, but that's just the way it is.
Put your thing to private.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I did.
It's
for the longest
but
time.
all your followers still see it.
Nick had to text. Nick had to be like, "Hey, can you please unprivatize your Twitter so we can actually do promotion for the podcast?"
Well, yeah, but I mean, how many followers did you have? Like 100 or something?
I don't have that many, but still,
Yeah.
I'm like that protective of my social media because I know the mistakes I've made. Like,
you never tweet.
I'll give you a great example. I was at a work party for my previous job a few years ago. It was a while ago.
A work party with Ryan. Let's see what happens.
And
with
so
this story.
they gave me a gift they actually gave me 2 gifts. One was legitimate, and the other one wasn't. It was a joke. It was like short shorts, and like
hilarious.
a t-shirt, and like a tank top. And it was
boy.
meant to be a joke, like and joking around
What's
with me.
the joke though? I don't get it.
It was just
What,
joking.
you
It
trying
was
to be
just
like Magic Johnson or something?
yeah,
with the
I
short
think
shorts?
something like that. Something like that. Like it was meant to be a joke because I joke around, with coworkers and whatnot. And my sister-in-law saw that and me like putting it on and just like laughing with it. And she was like, "Get that off of your social media right now." And like, cause somebody had tagged me in that. And I just untagged myself and took it off my content. She wanted me to take it off the girls' page or ask her to take it off, and I never have because I didn't think it was too
Wait
bad.
a minute. I don't understand why there's any. Are you going to get to the point why there's contention with this?
Because
or?
she thought what they were doing was they were making an embarrassment of me and putting it on social media, and she doesn't want that to come back to haunt me later on
But
in
didn't
life.
you okay that though?
I never okayed.
Did you care though?
I didn't really care that much.
See, that's the thing, though.
I didn't care
if
that
the person
much.
doesn't care, like if I would post, if I was wearing a thong and with nothing else on, and it was posted on someone's social media, I could care less. If that comes back to haunt me, I'll be like, I look better than half the people commenting on this
yeah,
anyway,
I
so
mean-
it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you gotta, if it's a joke, it's a
Right.
joke with me.
Yeah,
If it's meant to bully, it's different.
I mean,
They weren't bullying with me though.
That's
It was
exactly.
just
I have
them
to
putting it on.
disagree with your sister-in-law here, and she's being way too shallow.
But-
She's being way too.
And my brother called me. He was like, "Hey, what's this thing about your? Why is she getting
Your
all
brother's like,
upset?"
"Doesn't give a shit."
My brother was like, "Why is she getting
I
all
don't-
upset?" He was like, "Okay, don't put anything else you don't want to put up there. Okay, let's just move on from this."
I
'Cause
mean,
she was going on a rampage
for-
about it. My brother had to call me. He's like, "Look, she's going on a rampage about
Your
this."
sister-in-law's name is Lauren, right?
Shh. Don't tell people her name.
the
Sorry,
thing
sorry.
is, I don't think I've ever gotten in trouble. I've ever gotten
That's
in
a
trouble.
no-no.
I think the thing is that maybe some people have called me out by me posting annoying shit about music, and people just some people.
That's different though. That's not
Yeah,
like a
and,
racial or like a
I think
homophobic
it's
thing.
more of an annoying thing. But sorry guys, like if I'm annoying you with the Ring General's post, get used to
F
it.
off.
Get used
right?
to it.
Like,
You're gonna see more of
either-
this.
Or
either
just click
listen
on
to-
it, or just click on the link to see what the fuss is about.
yeah,
Just
there
click
you
on the
go,
link,
there you go.
man. What's the problem?
What am I
All
saying?
right.
No. Please follow, subscribe, everything.
There
Yeah.
you go. Please do.
Okay.
All right, so,
we gonna go
that's,
into this
that's
thing?
next completely random segment of the day. Kind of random because it's going to tag into Ryan Rance.
Man, these beta males are controlling the world today, man. What did I tell you guys about social media and what you put on there? You got to be careful because whatever you do
We literally just said that.
is
Yeah.
going
just
to absolutely positively come back to haunt you. And in the case of the perfect
your
10,
ass.
known as Ty Dillinger and Cedric Alexander, I don't understand what y'all were tweeting 6 or 7 years ago, but y'all done effed up. Because in Ty Dillinger's case, he tweeted this in, May 2011. It's not rape if they're sleeping. And then Cedric Alexander comes out and says, surprise, let's see. It's not rape if they're sleeping. And then, Cedric Alexander says, he made a joke about non-consensual sex not being rape if you yell surprise. First of all, I'm very upset with you, Cedric Alexander, because you took one of the things from Dokes from Dexter, okay, where he used to come out and say surprise mother effer, okay, and I love that show. Second of all, the fact of the matter is this. You're a black man in America, in the South, who knows he wants to be in the WWE one day, what the hell are you doing making these types of comments on social media? Like, what are you doing? Like, why in the world do we keep having to deal with this? I don't know if people don't understand it. Also, you know, in this day and age, people are going to look up your stuff because, number one, they probably get no vagina. Number two, they probably get no penis. Number three, they have no life. Or number four, all of the above, which is most likely all of the above. So I have no clue why in the world we constantly go on our social medias and just post without consequence, knowing that one day somebody could grab that tweet, that Facebook post, that Instagram, wherever you're on, and just put that out there once you get famous. And you know what they like to do now? They like to manipulate you for money. They love doing that on your social media. Like, how in the world are we going to continuously go on in this world today with this social media thing being as big as it is, knowing the fact of the matter being that we have these beta males out here on social media, dominating social media, saying stupid stuff? I can't keep dealing with this anymore. It's dumb. And you know who's leading the charge? Corey Graves, Cedric Alexander, Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10. Learn your lesson. Don't be a bitch-ass beta male like Corey Graves. I'm the RKJ man, and I'm always shooting my shot for greatness.
I got two things to say about this. Number one, I was about to go on Instagram Live when he said the thing about penises and vaginas, so I'm very disappointed I didn't.
Damn it.
And number two, so you have to listen to the podcast in order to hear those comments. But number two, guess when these tweets came out, guys?
2011.
6 or 7 years ago. The same shit as baseball players.
No. Ty Dillinger's 37 years old. He was 31, 30 when he
I'm
came
saying
out.
it still goes back to the fact that social media was brand new. People didn't know the effect it was going to have later in life. I'm not okaying. I'm just saying I'm about 50-50 on it. Because you shouldn't say what you said, but I think a lot of people, when you look back on how new social media still was to people, you have to cut them a little bit of slack. For stuff like that, which is a joke, that's not even like racial. Those were both jokes.
Yeah, but you can't go on. You can't go on public and say, "Oh, it's not rape" if you yell "surprise." Like, come on, man. Like, that's just like common sense. You don't say that
I'm
because
surprised.
your female friends could be laughing at it, but in the back of their head, they could be thinking, "This mother knucker might rape me one day."
Don't laugh at it then. I mean, you shouldn't. That's the thing. Like, why are you laughing at a joke that you don't think's funny? Like that. I mean, then you bring it up 7 years ago. Well, you made that one rape joke. No, that's dumb. I'm not saying it's okay, but 6, 7 years ago with social media. Now, if they said it in an interview on TV, that's different. Okay, or like we heard Hulk Hogan get recorded. Right, we're gonna talk about him in a second. Or you heard Dog the Bounty Hunter say racist shit when he was recorded. Or you heard Donald Sterling. They're recorded. They're just talking and, you know what I'm saying, they're not on social media. So it's, you know, I just think with social media, it was brand new. I'm 50-50 on all of these people. Just because I think a lot of people just go, you said that on social media. Well, yeah, when it was brand new and nobody knew shit. So 50-50. Eric comments on it because he kind of said his piece, obviously. So
you know, the first thing that when I saw those tweets, I thought they were Photoshop because fans like to Photoshop
Those
tweets.
photoshopped.
But and then but then I saw like the headline news. I'm like, oh wait, whoa, this was true, and I just wanted to know if this was recent or not. And that was the thing I wanted to get Ryan's thoughts on it and your thoughts on it, if it was recent or old. But
It was
now
2011.
wow.
Cedric Alexander was
you're
22.
talking about. Did you just say that Cedric Alexander and Ty Dillinger were on the headline news? That movie's getting big.
No. No, it was a web.
Ty Dillinger?
What did I say?
No, it was
Headline news? Ty
What are you
Dillinger?
talking about headline news over
no.
here?
What
The
I-
only perfect 10 with him is Peyton Royce.
HLN, they on Nancy Grace?
No, what I meant is that there was this Instagram page called Wrestling Heads or Wrestling News, and it just made it there, and and then I just
That's
said,
not
wow.
the headline news.
But yeah,
That's not headline.
what else I say?
You know what? At the end of the day, man, like, y'all got to understand this. What you say and what you do is very, very important. Like, I say things on here, but I'm always careful how I say it. Like, I just called Corey Graves a beta male.
Bitch.
And I've called him that because that's what he was acting like towards CM Punk.
He pissed you
But
off.
so you
that
weren't
day.
missing your words, and you said exactly what you.
I said
what you just
exactly
said was
what
so
I
hypocritical.
feel about him, and I'm not going to get sued for that. He can't sue me for that one because that's what he was acting like.
Well, that doesn't work out in court. You could say, I killed her because she was acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. And then the judge goes, oh, I guess you're right. Okay,
See, it's
never
different.
mind.
I've read the rules about slander, and it's different with celebrities. Celebrities have a different.
Let me know if I slander
think.
anybody so I can change my words. Because since obviously you know the doctrine of the law.
I'm just saying,
Here.
it's different with celebrities. Celebrities
TMZ
have
is
a
coming
different
after you,
thing.
man.
TMZ is going to show up with cameras outside the outside the studio.
Honestly, I want Corey Graves to come on the show and have a conversation with me like a man.
You definitely don't want that.
Because
I'm
I
just saying.
have no problem with coming. I'll be like, look, man, here's how I feel. This is why I feel like you are a beta male. This is why.
Eric
This
and
is
I
why.
are going to DM and be like, we got this angry fan we do a podcast with that doesn't like you, and we need you to just shut him the hell up on this podcast.
I'm not a fan of Corey
No,
Graves.
but we'll say it that way.
This is
so
our
like-
location. This is our location. Saddleback
Yeah.
College.
No, we'll
I'm
give,
not a
we'll
fan
give
of him.
Ryan's address, right? No, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do with me, Corey Graves. But at the end of the day, you were acting like a beta male. If you got a problem with it, you can slide in my DMs.
Tweet him.
And you can tweet me, or I'll give you my number. We can have a conversation, but let's put it on the podcast because I like content.
It's radio. It's
All right.
always good radio.
Let's keep the controversy up. Hulk Hogan's back in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Wow.
From
So-
one controversy to another. This is controversial.
So Hulk Hogan, like I said, I'm
Controversial.
looking at his picture right now. I didn't mean to do that either.
oh, yeah, brother.
Brother, TNA's going to be the next big thing. It's so stupid. Hulk Hogan, obviously, back in 2015, I believe. Well, it was 3 years ago, right?
Somewhere around
Couple-
that.
yeah.
Came out. I remember I was
don't
in
know.
New York City when I heard that Hulk Hogan had said some racist shit, and he was getting kind of kicked out of the WWE.
Yeah, that
So-
I remember
yes.
because me and the RKJ Man, we did his show Thirsting with the RKJ Man, and the next day the news came out, and I called Ryan and I said, Ryan,
Are you okay?
what's up, man? What happened?
So I figured that Eric wanted to hear my thoughts, and we kind of dove into this on the phone, Eric. And I've kind of dove into this previously on this podcast. So I'm hearing apparently Titus O'Neil saying, allegedly, Titus O'Neil and some members of the New Day aren't exactly happy with the fact
Yeah, I
that Hulk
heard
I've
about
Hogan
that.
is
seen
back.
these tweets. They aren't. It's not allegedly. They're tweets. There's tweets
So
out.
here's the situation that I have. Okay, we just lost two wrestlers this past week in Bryan Christopher and Nikolai.
Grandmaster Sexay.
Yeah, Grandmaster
Jerry
Sexy.
Lawler's son.
Good times.
And
when
Nikolai
I saw him, yeah.
Volkov.
Nikolai Volkov, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think forgiveness is something that's very, very important. Very, very important. Now, you can forgive, but you can't forget. You can forgive, but not forget. And I think in the case of the New Day, Titus O'Neil and them, I think they honestly should focus on trying to forgive Hulk Hogan and trying to move forward. Because the fact of the matter is this. In life, sometimes we all make mistakes and we all say things that we wish we could take back. And Hulk Hogan made a drastic mistake, okay? What he said was definitely not appropriate. The definition of not appropriate. However, the fact of the matter is you can't deny how big Hulk Hogan has meant to the business of professional wrestling.
This will overshadow
Titus
that,
O'Neil and the New Day would definitely not be working for the WWE if Hulk Hogan had have not made WrestleMania and the WWE and Hulkamania as big as it was.
NWO.
It's just
Yeah.
it's in NWO. I mean, the fact of the matter is this. It's time to we don't have that many wrestling legends left in our business.
Yeah.
We don't in that business, in the wrestling business. You don't. And Hulk Hogan is the definition of a legend. He's the definition of a man who has sacrificed everything for this business, lost his family, lost parts of his body. You know, I mean, he's done everything he's needed to do. And just watching that Andre the Giant documentary and seeing Hulk Hogan and just seeing how it is, I don't want Hulk Hogan to become another Andre, man. So I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to forgive Hulk Hogan and understand what he said was a mistake. And I think the conversations need to be had, though, with Hulk Hogan about how he felt in the times leading. And if he caused some black African-American wrestlers to be held back because of his racial views, then those should be criticized. That should definitely be criticized. But at the end of the day, I think Hulk Hogan's a professional enough to not let those views hold him back. And I think it's time to forgive Hulk Hogan. I think Titus O'Neil and the New Day should sit down and have an honest conversation with Hulk Hogan, because honestly, he wants to have that conversation, especially with them, because they are black.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, because Mark Henry did put out a tweet as well. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing it, and he said something along the lines of what Hogan should do if he does come in walking into the building. He should make amends and also start apologizing to almost every single African American wrestler out there. Mark Henry put it out there, even himself. And now I also wanted to get the side from Booker T. Booker T, a guy who's known Hulk Hogan for a very long time. And this is on Booker T's radio show. He said that the first thing that he's going to see when he sees Hulk Hogan, he's going to give him a big hug. He's not going to think about what happened, because he said that this should change when we stop using the N-word, because Booker T never uses it. That's what he said. He never uses it. And the thing
I've heard
was
him say it on TV before.
Yeah.
Booker T said, "We're coming for you, N-word."
Yeah, but that was
Liar, Booker T, you liar.
I know. And that was the thing. They asked him that question
You
about.
liar.
They asked him a question about, like, well, Booker T, you did say the N-word, on that pay-per-view, right? Well, it's because I was here in the moment. I was here at the moment, but
I only say it when I'm doing my promos.
We're coming for you.
and he
One of the funniest things ever.
Yeah.
And the way he just looked,
Yeah.
it just felt so bad.
Wait, okay. If I'm
Wait until you get
Yeah.
off
who
camera
else
for
was
that.
there with him when he said that stuff? Just sorry to
Steve-
Was it Sensational Sherry there?
Stevie Ray.
She was
Stevie
there.
Ray.
I almost
Stevie
felt
Ray.
like
And Gene
Hogan
Okerlund.
was there.
Gene
then.
Okerlund, yeah.
Okerlund.
I almost felt like Hogan was there when he did that. Oh, here, I'm gonna look. I'm just gonna
So
look.
the thing is that Booker T, the reason why it looks like he's cutting Hogan some slack is because Hogan helped out Harlem Heat when Booker T was with Stevie Ray, with his tag team partner. He said that there's these two guys who want to make it in the company at WCW, and Hogan, he was one of the guys who helped out Harlem Heat. So that's why Booker T is going to give him some slack. So now I don't know about the other wrestlers. Maybe the younger wrestlers.
That's exactly
that's the
who
video,
it
right?
was. That's exactly who
You
it
guys are
was.
exactly right. It was Stevie Ray's brother. It
Yeah.
was Mean Gene Okerlund, and it was
Sensational
Sensational
Sherry.
Sherry.
Live TV WCW. Yeah, no, okay.
That's what Eric Bischoff wanted.
Sorry, but so back to the Hogan stuff. Sorry, I just said that was-
Enthusiastically wonderful.
I had to call out Booker T for being a complete liar. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Oh no, I just wanted to finish it off saying is that most of the new guys they're all tagging along with what Mark Henry saying, that he should go and start apologizing to every single African American wrestler in the building, the current guys in the WWE. That's what the new guys want to do, or tagging along with Mark Henry to do. So with Booker T, I think he's more open to just saying, hey, what's up? How's it going, Hogan? How's it going, man? I think because they're just so good buddies and everything. But the question is to you, Ryan, if you were an active wrestler in the WWE and you see Hogan walking, I mean, what would you say to him?
I would wait for him to come to me.
I was gonna say that.
I'm not gonna actually go up to him and be like, "Oh, Hulk Hogan." Time for that's over. Like this whole being enamored with Hulk Hogan is done now. We've seen Hulk Hogan, the man. We've seen Terry Bollea.
Yeah.
And Terry Bollea is a troubled man. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Hulk Hogan probably came up to those wrestlers first. Now, I think it just looks bad on their part if you just don't shake their hand and don't say to them and don't have a conversation with them. I think you've got to have these conversations in order to further the healing process. It's just like if somebody hurts you in life, and they want to come and make amends, you look bad if you turn your back on them and you say to them, "Hey, I don't want to forgive you." That looks bad.
I agree
kind of
with
like the
that. That's
bad guy
really
in a
dumb.
way, yeah.
And I'll say this too. It's not like Hulk Hogan's 35.
No,
He's old. Okay, let me look at
He's
that.
like in his late
Wikipedia right here.
60s.
He's hit 70, right?
He's 64. No, he actually is pretty young. But so
Yeah,
60.
but we see
okay,
wrestlers
so
a lot younger than that, man.
As old as
I
McMahon.
think when you look at millennials, most millennials are not racist anymore. We see the KKK and all that bullshit, but I think that's actually a very, very small margin of people that live here. But back in Hulk Hogan's year, let's imagine when Hulk Hogan was in high school, right? What years would this be? The 1960s.
Yeah.
You're telling most of the kids in his high school were racist. Okay, so if you're constantly around these racist white people, and he even said in his thing, like in some interview, that he said a lot of his neighbors used the N-word from back when so. I think a lot of these and just speaking of forgiveness, because I do not agree with what he said at all. What he said was really, really stupid, right? His daughter, and he used the N-word a bunch of times and stuff like that. So it was really dumb. And I thought it was absolutely appropriate that WWE kind of cut ties with him for a while. But I also agree with Ryan in that it's been enough time. Hulk Hogan is the most famous wrestler ever, okay? And Hulk Hogan's also he's old. He's from a time when people were racist. He's from an area that was very racist, Florida and Georgia. Okay, so you have to have some forgiveness
Like
for
a
those
sympathy
type
for
of
him, yeah.
exactly. If he's a 32-year-old wrestler that's saying this stuff, dude, F off. Like, you're just a racist,
Yeah.
right?
You're just an asshole. That's
And
what
you're
it is.
never going to
Yeah.
be allowed in the business, like Scorpio Sky, who made homophobic comments and lost his opportunity to be.
100%. But I agree with Ryan. If you're that short-sighted and you can't forgive a guy that said this stuff a long time ago. When did the sex tape happen, by the way?
About 3 years ago, right?
The sex tape happened 3 years ago, or it came out
No.
3 years ago?
I don't know.
This is like
All I know
around-
is he got caught sleeping with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
See, that
I
sounds like
think.
that's a long time ago,
and
though.
and I'm really upset about that because why are you going around sleeping with your best friend's wife?
I mean,
what I
have you
heard-
not heard the stories from Kevin Nash and Scott Hall? That's just the way WCW life was.
Well,
Those
no.
guys
Bubba the
had
Love
wives, their
Sponge
wives didn't care.
is a
Well-
radio personality.
Well, the thing is that Bubba the Love Sponge, him and his wife, they had like an open relationship, so he was allowed to have his wife do whatever she wanted to do. So that was the thing that I
disgusting.
heard. Yeah.
Look, I think at the end of the day, in a country, in a time and age right now where we hold grudges so long against people.
Yeah.
I think it's time to forgive Hulk Hogan and let's move on. Let's have an honest conversation about the way we view people
Yeah.
in professional wrestling.
You don't have to say he's a great guy.
And let's be honest here, professional wrestling's always had some type of racist views.
Yeah. And
Let's
there's
look at
still-
Crime Time.
and there's-
Crime Time was two black thugs going and robbing
Yeah,
people in
who's-
the ghetto
Whose idea was that?
with grills in their
Whose
mouths.
idea was if it was their idea, then it's not.
And they were totally cool with it.
But
let's look at Nikolai
cares?
Volkov.
But then who cares then?
Let's look at the Iron Sheik.
I agree
Let's
with
look at
that,
the
yeah.
Mexi Cools. Let's look at all of these racist
Dude, the Mexi Cools used to come out as lawnmowers, bro.
Oh, lawnmowers.
Lawnmowers,
How
bro.
racist. And JBL would say openly on commentary, hey, I need these guys to lawn my grass.
What an
Mow
asshole.
my lawn.
Mow the lawn. Oh, lawn my grass.
Whatever, man. I was just like, JBL, man. Like, so at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, oh, by the way,
2006. That's when that sex tape happened.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know this. It's so scary watching with all this immigration thing going on, watching JBL in 2004, what he did when he won Kurt Angle's Great American Award, when he went to the border
Yeah.
and kept them out. That's so scary watching that
Yeah.
now. It's like it's foreshadowing. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, man, wrestling's always had some racial, stereotypical elements into it, man.
Yeah.
That's why I'm scared about Velveteen Dream getting up to the main roster. Like, how are you going to handle that situation? Goldust was not even handled right. So at the end of the day,
With Booker T, man. He was tag team with Booker
There's-
T. There you go.
yeah,
Well,
there's
the
a lot of-
Goldust
worked
was
well.
essentially a homophobic wrestler. I mean, it was a homosexual wrestler.
no, he
Well,
was in
For a while, he definitely was.
no.
Yeah, no. So
He was
some of his
presented as a-
gimmick was like being weird around guys.
Well, that was like
And
90
women too.
That was like
Because remember, he was
90
married to a woman,
Yeah.
Marlena. What was her
Marlena-
name? Marlena.
Terry Runnels,
Yeah.
What years are we
Terry
talking
Runnels.
about here?
96 through 1997.
We're
Talking about
about-
real life.
98.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
and
they were
then
actually
on-
married. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
is Orlando Jordan gay?
Yeah.
Yes, he's gay.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
actually gay.
Yeah, he's
I didn't know
actually
that.
gay.
I didn't know that.
No, yeah.
But he
he's been
never
open to it.
he never portrayed that character on WWE television, as far as I know.
Did he ever
was just
portray
Orlando
a
Ga-
straight
Lan-
character though?
Yeah, Orlando Jordan. Yeah, he was just Orlando Jordan.
Yeah, just the regular
A
wrestler.
cabinet wrestler.
What a
Never mind, I
terrible
didn't
waste
actually
of a
know he was
wrestler.
gay,
That's
so I
a
had
waste
no
of
point.
that's a waste of a wrestler right there,
He
Orlando
was a good
Jordan.
wrestler
Yeah.
too.
I didn't like him.
You didn't like him?
He sucked.
Did you not like him because he was gay? Brian?
No,
I'm just kidding.
we're not gonna do that.
100% gay.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
100% kidding. Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, man, y'all let Hulk Hogan, y'all forgive this man and y'all have conversation with him. Have a conversation with him and be
Stop
real
banging
with
on the
him.
table.
Whatever. Be real with this dude and be like, hey, look, like what has been going through your mind when you see an African American wrestler or a wrestler that is not white in the business? Like, do you have that thought to them, or do you think, oh, we can make money together? You know? That's what I would do if I was the New Day and Titus O'Neil, because it just makes you look bad. And then on top of that, if Hulk Hogan's in the good graces of the WWE and you work for the WWE, that's just putting your job in jeopardy. And we already know Titus O'Neil has
He's
already
got in
gotten
trouble,
his
Guys
yeah.
can't come out of the ring and not fall.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he
he
should-
can't come out of the ring and not fall, and he's pushing Vince McMahon, you know, and like getting suspended, even though he claims it's a joke. Come on, man, y'all know y'all got to know how to play the game of politics.
That's when we put it
Absolutely.
right
Sorry,
there.
I'm texting.
Get off the phone, Nick.
Sorry, there's so many
If-
bunch
it can
of
wait.
people blow
If you-
me up on my stupid group chat.
If you're promoting the show, then go for it, man.
I could. I mean,
Yeah.
so Eric, where are we at on time as far as
So
podcast
we
goes?
are we are 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Okay, so we got let's do a little predictions for the UFC.
Oh, really quickly.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, when we last did the podcast, you said you were gonna tally up the Extreme Rule votes.
Oh,
and
I
see
have
who
that.
won.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Like,
yeah.
who won that?
We'll talk about UFC for sure, but bro, I don't think. I mean, Eric, you gonna watch it?
I'll try to, but maybe I'll just watch like the last two matches.
Yeah,
because-
that's probably what I was gonna do
Yeah.
too. But
I
let
won't be
me
watching.
let me find this real quick. I'm gonna be gone.
I'll
so
be
I can't.
working.
yeah. It's just that.
Where is this shit?
I mean, it's
You
not.
guys
gonna-
need to talk because I need to look this up.
Okay.
No dead air.
Hey, I just
Okay.
want to let you know that Corey Graves can't sue me for slander because it has to hurt you for your reputation. And Corey Graves' reputation is fine.
Hey, keep
so he
going
can't
back to
sue because he can't sue me for
Does
slander.
anybody have a pen and paper? I didn't tally him up. I just wrote down who we picked.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I didn't tally him up.
I thought you had did this a few weeks ago.
Well, if you want, you guys have a discussion about something. I'll tally it up.
I think
Nick,
I got
look-
a pen right here.
Eric, let's talk a little bit.
Do you have paper though?
Let's see.
It's just all this crushing noise on the freaking mic right now.
I got paper. Hold on, give me a second.
I got.
All right,
paper.
This
well,
is
you-
the best part of
Look
the
here.
podcast right here.
Hey,
This is live.
Eric,
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Brock Lesnar, man.
Give me- oh.
Because Brock Lesnar is out here dominating people in these segments, but yet I don't want to see Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again.
I
Are
don't
you
wanna see
excited
it.
about this match?
You know,
because I'm not.
I don't see it, but the storyline is more with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. If you did see Monday Night Raw, you saw Monday Night Raw.
I saw
right?
Monday Night Raw,
Okay,
but I'm
so-
tired of Roman Reigns constantly calling Brock Lesnar a bitch. It's 2018 and he's called Brock Lesnar a bitch 2018 times. So,
And Brock Lesnar would kill him in real life.
Man, you've been counting, man.
yeah, like, come on, man. How many more times are we gonna hear the B word come out of Roman Reigns? Like, it's so cool. Oh my God, he just said the B word. Oh my God. Like,
This is the PG era. That's the thing.
Brock Lesnar is going to be my bitch through storyline.
I know. It's like
Yeah, when
all of a sudden it's
then
gonna
when
get.
Brock beats Daniel Cormier for the heavyweight title, we're gonna be like, really, Roman? Like, are you the guy that's gonna be? You know, not true. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back
I
to
mean,
tallying.
yeah,
up.
I'm just gonna be honest with you here. I think this matchup is gonna be a disaster, and now they're effing it up even more because Bobby Lashley's entering a feud with Elias.
What?
Like, yeah, he did some segment
So
with
it's
Elias.
confirmed. It's confirmed then.
So it's pretty much Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Like, and you're gonna put this as the main event of SummerSlam? No. Unless you expect all the fans to get up from out of their
Samoa
seats
Joe and AJ Styles should be the main
and
event.
walk
That's
out.
the main event. Samoa
That
Joe,
needs to be-
AJ Styles. That's the main event.
That's got to be the main event. And we'll talk a little bit more about this on our predictions when SummerSlam
Yeah,
is
When we
up.
get
exactly.
closer to SummerSlam.
As we get
yeah.
closer and closer to SummerSlam. But I just think that this storyline is just a complete waste of time. They ran out of things. And although Brock Lesnar segments were good, and I can admit that, the fact of the matter is this: nobody wants to see this match again, and I'm tired of
Yeah.
seeing it.
I mean, the thing is with them is that yes, it was entertainment. It was entertaining with Paul and Brock, but overall the feud between Brock and Roman Reigns, it's like, what else are you guys gonna throw? Because I don't see anything new coming out of this feud between Roman and Brock. I mean, how many times, like you said, how many times is Roman gonna call Brock Lesnar a bitch? How many times?
This
Because
must be Brock Lesnar's farewell, though.
I
Because
think-
if he's breaking up with Paul Heyman,
Yeah.
then this has got to be the end.
Even Brock, I think that Brock, he's just
Nick,
like,
you keep telling the votes.
Yeah. Even Brock.
Hurry up and do that.
I want to speak so bad.
Right.
We don't got too much time left.
Even Brock, I'm pretty sure, even though he's got to go with this feud, I'm pretty sure he's come up to the boss and said to him, "Really? Are you serious? Like, I just got done beating this guy, and I've had a feud with him. What's going on?" And I'm pretty sure Brock is frustrated.
Well,
And
this is what allegedly happened. Allegedly, after WrestleMania 34, he threw the title at Vince McMahon and got into it with Shane.
he did, because he knew that the fans did not like it, and he said, "Don't ever put me to work with this guy ever again." All right.
And guess what? 3
Peace
weeks
out.
later,
Yeah.
it was the greatest Royal Rumble in a steel cage match. I'm just saying, like,
That's the stubbornness of McMahon, dude.
I mean, it's just stubbornness, and it's just like,
you know what?
this is why I go on my annual vacation after SummerSlam,
You know what
because I know that this thing is going to happen, and I'm not going to care.
You know what I fear is that I feel that this man, Vince McMahon, is going to go all throughout his entire life
Trying to get Roman Reigns over.
Yeah, like he's like on his deathbed, and then Stephanie and Triple H is gonna say, "Hey, Dad," or "Hey, Dad, how's it
Dad.
going? Can you tell me what we're gonna do with the storyline?" And McMahon's gonna be like,
Roman. Let me get my quick thoughts on this before I give you guys the winner of the, what was this? Extreme Rules competition. God, I'm so out of it. I actually liked what they did on Raw this past Monday. I enjoyed all the backstage stuff. You could tell it was Paul Heyman that wrote this, by the way.
Thank you,
And
Paul.
I just think it is very interesting that he beat up Paul Heyman. It definitely adds
Some flavor, a little bit of that.
A
but
sort of like Brock Lesnar's even more of an asshole than we thought. And it kind of, I don't know. I like the way they scripted this Monday Night Raw. The thing that was very interesting was the fact that the crowd at one point, most of the crowd, I'm talking like 98%, started chanting for Roman Reigns.
I did hear that.
Okay, and I get
This was in Miami.
where were they? They were in Miami.
Miami.
Okay, so there was right after that. You could hear a couple dudes start yelling, Roman sucks or whatever. But the fact that Paul Heyman actually got the crowd to chant,
This is
"We
in
want
Miami.
Roman,"
Yeah,
that was interesting to me. And it's not going to work in Brooklyn.
I'm not sure.
It's not going to work in Brooklyn, but
it's
for
not.
the casual fan, I think Brock Lesnar looked like a real asshole.
No,
And I
well,
think it actually
well,
somewhat
This
worked.
is in Miami, Florida, and also The Rock is
most
from
electrifying
Miami.
man.
And on top of that,
What
The
does that
Rock
even
has
do with-
endorsed Roman Reigns multiple times. So
Well, they're
obviously,
related, bro. What is he supposed to do?
they're going to cheer for Roman
Well,
Reigns.
I'm not
I
su-
think that's not a true
I know-
thing. I think you're trying to find a way to knock the crowd in Miami for
Of course, I'm
cheering
knocking
for
them.
who they want. Okay, but
Yeah.
it's not. You can say that,
Well-
but if they all cheered for Roman Reigns, they all want. That's an
You
entire
said
arena.
98% of them.
No, they started saying. Me and my brother were like, "Oh shit!" Like they're actually cheering for Roman Reigns, and then you heard the fans. You heard like people like us go, "Roman suck." You know what I'm saying?
How many kids are at a Raw pay-per-view compared to a pay-per-view? At a Raw compared to a pay-per-view. That's what I want to know.
That's Ryan. I just said it's not going to work in Brooklyn, but it worked for the casual fan.
If you say so, man.
Which I'm not. I'm saying the storyline.
Let's see if those ratings go up.
The storyline is way better. This storyline for SummerSlam has been way better. I wish they would have done this for like WrestleMania.
They should have
It's
done
the
that.
same old, man.
No, it's not the same old, same old.
It's the
Brock
same old,
breaking
same
up
old.
with Paul Heyman is not the same old, same old. That is-
we saw that 15 years ago.
Okay, Ryan, we're not talking about 15 years ago. We're talking about right now. You're trying to shit on the storyline, but it's somewhat good. We don't want to see the match.
See,
that's
Nick,
happened
this is
to.
the problem we
It's been
have,
happened
man.
too much. It's happened.
You like this shit?
Stop interrupting, though.
Okay.
You're interrupting.
Go
and getting
ahead,
your
go
point
ahead.
through. But what I'm saying is they should have done this for WrestleMania. People would have been more played. It's not going to work because the matches happen too often. But they got the casual fan this past Monday because Paul Heyman wrote it, and they should have guys like Paul Heyman writing the show all the time. But then every storyline would be good. If you wrote an amazing storyline, and they probably should have done this for WrestleMania like 31, back in the day when they had their first match.
They should have done that, but at the right now, how fans are reacting to Roman, even the fans who, even if you like live in Philadelphia, it's a little bit too late. But if the only thing that can save this feud, or maybe save this match, and this is what fans have been wanting. This is probably what fans want, is that best case scenario is that both men are down and Braun Strowman is going to cash in.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you kind of have to, or Kevin Owens, because they have a match for the contract. Yeah. So I would almost rather see Kevin Owens win the title, just because that'd be way more surprising.
Yeah.
So I just looked up the ratings, and the ratings were the highest it's been. It's in 3 months. It hit 3-month ratings high.
You talking about Raw?
Yeah, for Raw, and it hit. Viewership is up. 8 o'clock they did 2.875 million. In the 9 o'clock hour, which is usually when it starts dipping, they did a 3.
You think because people saw Brock was actually there?
They saw Brock was actually there, so they got excited. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying to you, though, Nick, is that I feel like you're just taking this BS that we're getting and you're accepting it, because the fact of the matter
Bryan, I already
is
said I'm not watching the match if it's the main event.
It's the same thing.
I'm not watching the match. I'm just giving credit where credit is due. Have Paul Heyman as damn writer. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm putting Paul Heyman over in a way.
You just discredit me about Paul Heyman a few weeks ago in our last podcast. You was just like, oh, I don't care if Paul Heyman wrote the segment. And now you're
like, I said I don't care.
Yes, you did. You did.
Well, but someone go back and look, but I don't want to look. But I don't want to
look.
But I'll just make my last point, just because I want to get to these things, and we're gonna see who the big winner is and who the big loser was.
Yeah, we gotta hurry up because.
So no, I'm not saying I'm not gonna watch the match. If it's the main event, if it's not the main event, I'll watch it. Okay, because then there's something to look forward to. But what I'm saying is this so far looks like the best build they've done to one of these matches, just because Brock. Letting go of Paul Heyman, beating up Kurt Angle. You know, for all we know, for all we know, they could strip Brock of the title before this. I mean, if you beat up the GM, right? Why couldn't the GM just be like, "Well, I'm taking the title," right? And then they go, "Oh, Roman's gonna face somebody else."
Kurt's afraid.
And Brock just gets kicked off, and then
Kurt's scared of Brock.
You know, so there's stuff that can happen. It's the best build. I'm not gonna watch the match itself if it's the main event, but credit to whoever's writing this. I think it's Paul Heyman, for making us somewhat invested into this when nobody really should be. Okay? Now, Extreme Rules happened. Brock Lesnar was not there. Roman Reigns had a match. Okay? I'm not going to go over the matches, but so
who was the winner? Who was the loser?
In second place, okay, with 7 matches correct, I believe. How many matches were on the card? Like 9 or 10?
11, I think.
11 cards? 11. So with 7 matches won, myself, Nick D. Okay. 7 matches I got correct.
Okay.
One of them I got wrong. I'm just gonna say it because I said I wanted Roman Reigns to. I picked him to win so that Bobby Lashley wins. Technically, it's like 7.5 for me. Okay. I picked Roman Reigns because I didn't want him to win, and he didn't win. So technically, I kind of got 8, but I'm not gonna say it because I didn't pick him. Okay. And in first place, first annual Extreme Rules prediction. Whatever, bullshit. With 8 tallies, the RKJ man.
There you go.
And you say I keep missing stuff and messing up.
But that was good. And Eric only got 5. His predictions were off.
RKJ man never fails you.
We kicked Eric's ass in the competition. But me and you were pretty. Technically, we kind of tied, but we didn't. I'll give you the win. But I would have picked Lashley under every other circumstance.
Should do this more often. Yeah.
Oh, we'll do it for SummerSlam.
Yeah,
we'll do it for SummerSlam, and that's gonna be a lot more matches too. Maybe we'll add the pre-show just to see, because the pre-show actually will matter, and there's gonna be a cruiserweight title match and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. All right, UFC pay-per-view rolling in as we talk about the main events because we need to get the hell off this podcast. It's a double championship card. It's actually at the Staples Center, right up the road.
Los Angeles, California.
The main event of the evening is TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt, number 2. These guys had a great first fight, win all 5 rounds, one of the best fights in the last 2 years. The second title fight, Demetrius Johnson, who has been the flyweight title holder since 2011. Okay, he's I believe by far he's the longest defending champion. I think he's defended it like almost 20 times.
Yeah.
He's facing Henry Cejudo. We probably expect Demetrius Johnson to win this fight.
Yep.
But Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw.
This feud has been going on for quite a while.
Well, it has. And these guys have been hurt in a couple fights and stuff like that. Dillashaw won the first fight, actually in second round knockout, excuse me. That wasn't, I was thinking of two other guys. So Dillashaw getting the knockout. Who do we think wins this main event fight?
I think Dillashaw will still, I think he'll come out, if anything. But I think that Cody, he's prepared more than ever, ever since that first loss. But TJ Dillashaw, that doesn't mean that he's going to take him lightly. He's still going to go after him. He's going to still, try to throw him as much as he can, keep him on his ground, and also, try to knock him out as well. Or maybe do something different. Maybe submit him. But if anything, I'm going to go for a knockout from Dillashaw.
Oh, you're going to go?
Yeah,
same with me.
First round, second round, third round. What are we going?
Third round.
Third round?
Second round.
I'm going with the upset. I think Cody Garbrandt wins the fight.
You really think so? Okay.
Yeah. I think we'll go all three rounds. I think we'll go all 3 rounds. Or sorry, all 5 rounds, excuse me.
5 rounds, yeah.
And I think Garbrandt will get the win, and they'll have a third fight.
Right.
And this will be one of the better rivalries recently in UFC. But so I'm not going knockout. I think Garbrandt will win. Dillashaw's been the title holder for a while.
Yeah.
I think Garbrandt wants that revenge.
He does. It's been eating him for quite a while. So he's prepared, but I think, I don't know, Dillashaw might upset him. He might upset the crowd with a knockout. Same thing, but who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's 2 things that need to happen with Demetrius Johnson, too. Okay? Either they need to really, get better flyweights to fight him, or he needs to move up a division and have, a super fight with somebody. Right?
Yeah.
This is getting old. It's not... He's like Ronda Rousey. When Ronda Rousey was in it, and she was just beating the hell out of all these women.
Right.
And there was no competition. But it's been going on for, 7 years?
They got to recruit
I mean, these guys
in that division,
put out racist tweets, and he's still the title holder. Right?
Yeah.
So it's, something needs to happen. I think he needs to have a super fight. And they need to come. The rest of this card isn't that good. That's why we're not as pumped up for it as, say, the
super card. Which,
the Stipe Miocic Daniel Cormier fight. But I think with this dude at 125 pounds, he needs to maybe gains 20 pounds, go up to the 145 division, have a fight with somebody up there.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Spice things up,
Yeah, I mean, I get he's the title holder. He's a beast. He whoops ass, but the guy can't draw. That's why he's the title holder as the second championship.
Yeah,
so,
something's got to happen with the main event.
All right, that's the end.
That's the end of the podcast.
You gotta hurry up. You got people trying to come in the studio.
No, we have 11 minutes left. They can kiss my ass. Social media.
Right
here.
All right, so for me,
shout it out. Do you have to look up your social media, Ryan?
I do. I have to actually do it because I gave a girl my social media, and then I think I gave her the wrong.
Oh my God! Ryan gave a girl
on accident.
So for me, I'm gonna start. Check me out on Instagram at Santos_9. So I run 3 things. I basically run this with the Ring Generals on SoundCloud and YouTube. Also check me out on OC Rock Radio. Slamming Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Only on OC Rock Radio. I'll be playing some Godsmack on that particular Saturday. And Nick knows what I mean by that. And also going to throw in some UFC tracks just for the hell of it as well. Also, Video Game Cafe, check us out on YouTube with me and Luke. We'll be streaming hopefully this week. I don't know, by the end of this week before. Hopefully Luke moves. So we want to get as much content as we can on his channel or my channel.
Hey, Ryan, that's not your social media, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Ryan's looking up people in bikini pics.
I'm sorry.
Right now.
I'm sorry.
Damn.
You can follow me on Instagram at RKJman. If you have bikini photos, please feel free to post them. Let's see. And then also, at RKJman21. No, at RKJman on Twitter. And I'm also on Facebook at the RKJman. So hit me up and let's continue following my dreams, y'all.
At lowercase at Nick Nenad for almost all my social media. If you just type me on Facebook, my name, it will come up with some dumb stuff. And my Snapchat is Nick_Nenad. I finally figured out what it was. I also do the Cover 2 podcast every Wednesday. We just came out with a new show.
I'm coming for you, Jared, in a few weeks, bro.
Yeah, special guest, Alex Silva. Jared and I's homie was there to talk a little baseball because he's a big baseball fan. So shout out to Alex on that one. And
it's going to be war when I come on that podcast.
That is it. No podcast next week because I will be in Northern California. So our next podcast will probably be... Sorry, I'm not close enough to the mic. Our next podcast will probably be a SummerSlam predictions podcast, I'm guessing. just based on the
Yeah.
dates. And we will be coming at you with possibly some new art as well.
Stay tuned.
That is obviously you can't hear the art, but you'll see it.
If you go to
from
Saddleback
ourselves.
College, we're gonna put it all around this college to let y'all know.
If we
that
have it,
go.
yeah, if we have it. But let's not promote it until we actually do it. And then, so what we'll probably do is we'll probably have SummerSlam predictions, and we will do a podcast that next week talking about what happened at SummerSlam and NXT.
Yeah.
too. So
gonna be
for
busy.
Nick Nenad,
I am Eric Santos.
And I'm the RKJ man, and raise a glass in the sky and salute the ring generals.